Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Before we get into Adrienne and Israel's love story, let's find out a little bit more about Israel. Bailon-Houghton is an American contemporary Christian music singer, songwriter, producer, and worship leader. He was born on May 19th of 1971 in Oceanside, California. Yes, y'all. Israel is a Taurus. How many of these do I need to do for Adrienne? Lord. All right, here we go again. Now, Taurus season is from April 21st to May 20th. Now, one thing I will say about a Taurus man is that they are extremely hard working, stable and dependable, sensual and romantic, and they are patient. However, let's get to the bull. Y'all know their sign is the bull, and they are stubborn as hell. I know my sister be going through it with my brother-in-law. And they are possessive and jealous. They are the type to put trackers all underneath your core. They experience emotional disconnect but will still be all up in your face. They do not like change. And they value being in a relationship. They like being all up under people. Taurus men are also known to be habitual block spinners. So if you have a Taurus ex and all of a sudden he comes running right back around, you better run. Now let's go over his musical career because Israel is extremely talented. He is one of the most popular contemporary gospel artists of our time. Israel and his band, The New Breed, they released a lot of albums.
This piano ain't got no action, baby.
Fellas, let me tell you something, a little something. There is nothing wrong with this piano. See, you gotta feel it. You gotta feel it. See that kid out there playing that drum? He feels it like right here. Let me show you how this is done. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Here we go.
In 2001, Israel joined Lakewood Church, and he was a staff member, a musician, for 15 years. Israel Houghton is also biracial. Israel went into detail about his difficult childhood. My mother is white. My biological father is black. When my mother was 17, she got pregnant. They lived in Waterloo, Iowa, which at the time in 1971 was a very segregated society. She came home and told her parents, "I'm pregnant," and the father is black. They had a difficult time with it.
You are watching the Praise the Lord program right here from Big D. We're here. Tell what when you go around and you're doing all your thing and you're singing, you're doing all this. I bet it gets a little bit like the same. If everyone just looks at you as a singer, songwriter, singer, you're actually, in my estimation, you're like a preacher. So we're going to spend a couple of minutes up here and let's stretch you out a little bit. Oh, we know you can sing. Those little statue things that they give out in Los Angeles called Emmys. Israel has 4 of those. Grammys. Emmy. Well,
You got the Emmys.
Yeah.
Maybe that's pathetic.
Yeah. And audience, you go ahead and have your seat. Thank you. We're here in Big D, here in Dallas, Texas. The idea of you really taking the Bible and doing your thing in your worship conferences, that's all. That's what you are. That's who you are. So let's hear you.
What?
Okay.
We're actually on the air now,
Yeah,
so
we're rolling.
Satellite time is a bit expensive. So say something.
I was trying to figure out what you wanted me to say, Matthew.
About worship. What?
About worship.
No.
Start about when you were young and you led worship.
How about this answer? This is the question my mom and dad gave me when I was a kid. They'd go, "What does the Lord mean to you?"
No.
Yeah,
No.
remember that
Well,
one?
good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Now, Israel, did you not prepare for this interview? Red flag. Why is this interview very unstructured? We got him talking about, well, you know, I know you a singer, but are you a pastor? Do you know the word? Let's test you. Let's see if you can pass a spiritual test. And then here goes sis over here talking about, well, you know, you can just talk about Jesus. Talk about whatever you want. What is going on here? What's happening? And Israel, you taking way too long for somebody who should be anointed. We ain't got that much time. Wrap this up, sir. We got other videos to go through. Let's go. What do you need to say? Fill us with the Spirit, because you know how to sing it, so you got to know how to say it. Let's go. What does the Lord mean to you? Get it out of your mouth. Let's go.
You know, I have to go back to the beginning. You know, I think when you think of Jeremiah 29:11, when you think of Psalms 139, you realize pretty quickly there's nothing accidental about our lives.
Come on now.
And for me, I spent a good portion of my life feeling sort of accidental, and mainly because of how I was born and how I was raised. And in short, my mother was white. She still is white. And my father was black, and my mother got pregnant when she was still in high school. She was 17, and there was a lot of pressure on her. Obviously, she had a great future ahead of her, and a lot of people close to her said, just having to kind of move on with your life. And I'm grateful that she chose not to do that. Very grateful. And to make a long story short, they lived in Iowa, and she essentially got kicked out of her folks' home and ended up on the West Coast. And when she was 8 months pregnant, she had been doing drugs throughout the pregnancy, and the state of California, you know, said, we're going to take your child away because you're an unfit mother. And literally one day as she's walking down the street with all that weight of the world on her shoulders, she's walking and a lady across the street sees her and just stops and gets out of her car and actually kind of jogged across the street to get her attention. She said, I don't know you, but I feel like I had to come and tell you that Jesus loves you.
Wow.
And you're not forgotten.
Wow.
And literally on the street, she just loved on her. And there was no organ playing. There was no heads bowed and eyes closed, but literally she had her own altar call right on the street. And from that day, didn't touch another drug. From that day, God just did miracle after miracle. So there's two heroes in that particular story. One is my mom. Just the fact that she could have easily done what many have and just said, I can't take this pressure. Let me get rid of this problem, this issue, this situation in my life.
This young woman was a pianist, had everything going for herself. And she decided to entangle herself with this man who couldn't even stay with her 8 months, nor could he even stay to raise his child. This is a mess. So Israel already grew up in a traumatic situation. Israel shared more about his upbringing in an interview with the Christian Broadcasting Network, otherwise known as CBN. When I was 7, I met my grandfather for the first time, who was the same guy who told my mother, you gotta move on. I saw my cousins and my younger siblings running up and jumping on his lap and hanging out. A great time was being had by all, so I thought, let me do the same thing. Well, I ran and jumped up on his lap, and the next thing I knew, I was on my back. He had pushed me to the ground. He had still not been able to make peace with this cultural thing. I just said, what's wrong with me? Why? Red flag. I'm going to assume that his mother brought him into the house, and the grandfather was still dealing with his racism, obviously. Couldn't even let his grandchild sit on his lap. And although his mother was young, I will give her a little bit of grace, but you knew your parents were racist. You don't have to be that young to know that. This tells me that she was seeking a thrill. She wanted to get out of the lily white environment that she was in and decided that being with a black man was the best rebellious attack that she could have against her father and her mother. And now a child is brought into the mix. He has dealt with rejection his entire life. From the time he was born, his father rejected him and his grandfather rejected him. So now when you have someone who's dealing with rejection from the outset, then what can we expect? There was an article written by Psychology Today, and it was titled 12 Common Signs of Abandonment Trauma. Abandonment from a parent is a unique form of abandonment trauma, deeply affecting a child's emotional and psychological development. The absence of parental support and nurturing during critical developmental stages can result in long-lasting fears of rejection and difficulties in forming healthy relationships later in life. All right, let's read through the 12 signs, y'all. Emotional instability and insecurity. One of the hallmark signs of abandonment trauma is emotional instability. Individuals who have experienced abandonment may struggle with intense and fluctuating emotions. They often live with a pervasive sense of insecurity, fearing that those they care about will leave them, from friends to romantic relationships. This fear can lead to heightened anxiety, especially in relationships where there is emotional vulnerability. They might constantly worry about being rejected or abandoned, which can make them overly sensitive to perceived slights or changes in others' behavior. Fear of intimacy and commitment. Abandonment trauma can make it incredibly challenging for individuals to form close, intimate relationships. The fear of being hurt or left again can cause them to avoid deep emotional connections altogether. This avoidance can manifest as a reluctance to commit to long-term relationships or a tendency to keep partners at a distance. Bookmark this right here. Pin this part. They might engage in self-sabotaging behaviors, such as pushing partners away or ending relationships prematurely. And while it may seem counterproductive to outsiders, this is all in an attempt to protect themselves from potential abandonment. Some may jump from relationship to relationship to avoid these feelings, as having another relationship available can help avoid the pain of being alone when another ends. Clinginess and dependencies. Many survivors exhibit behaviors like clinginess and dependency in their relationships. They might develop an overwhelming need for constant reassurance and validation from partners or friends in an attempt to minimize feelings of low self-worth. This need can lead to excessive demands for attention and affection, which can understandably be stressful for others in their life. This clinginess is often rooted in the fear that without constant contact and affirmation, they will be abandoned again. All right, we're not going to read through everything, but I'm going to go through all 12 of them. Low self-esteem and self-worth, trust issues, unhealthy or unstable relationship patterns, emotional numbness and detachment, chronic feelings of loneliness, hypervigilance, unhealthy coping mechanisms, physical and medical concerns. Unhealthy coping mechanisms. We're going to go through that real quick. To manage their intense emotions and fears, individuals with abandonment trauma may develop various coping mechanisms as a way of self-medicating. These can include substance abuse, overeating, or other addictive behaviors as a way to numb the pain or distract themselves from their anxiety. While these behaviors may offer temporary relief, they often exacerbate the underlying issues and lead to further emotional and physical health problems. Pin this one too, y'all. Physical and medical concerns and struggles with finding meaning. I also have to add that Adrienne exhibits a lot of these signs as well. If you watched part 2, you would have seen the clip of Adrienne talking about her father wound and how her dad basically wasn't really there for her. That is also abandonment. Even if he is in her life right now, even if she has forgiven him, the way that he treated her mom and the way that he wasn't able to show up for her in the way that she needed him while she was growing from an adolescent to a young woman. So we have two folks with deeply embedded father wounds who have entered into a relationship. Going forward, we are going to see how their father wound and their struggles with abandonment influence their relationship.
That is a real conceived baby, and she chose to keep me. Wow. And then the other hero is the person who could have very well easily had other things to do. Wow. And she said, I'm going to stop, inconvenience myself, possibly inconvenience this pregnant woman. And we all understand that it's a risk just having a conversation with a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
We've had 3 children. Yeah. But she kind of crossed that uncomfortable line and And I think sometimes, and even now while we're talking, I'm going, what if like she did what I've done before? When God maybe moves on your heart to do something, and you drive and you start having this negotiation with God, like, God, I know his sign says he'll work for food, but he's not really gonna work. Why would I stop? Like, God, you know this is gonna be complicated. I gotta get to my staff meeting. I have ministry to do.
Yeah.
Red flag. You see, this was a touching story, Israel. I didn't even pause it because you did have a calling on your life. And your mama, I'm so happy she put the drugs down and that she was able to take care of you. Now, the problem here is you're very selfish. You're showing a few selfish tendencies here. Because you're like, well, I need to stop for you. I got a meeting to go to. Be like Jesus. Ain't that what they tell us? Sir, you were not being Christ-like. And I get it. We're all human. But I have to point this out for case study purposes. A little selfish tendency was coming out here. Look at him smiling.
And then I'm always kind of brought back to this moment. What if that lady had a Bible study that was far more important than actually living the gospel out on the street?
Wow.
And for us, you know, and as a group, New Breed has been together 11 years this year, and I'm celebrating 21 years of full-time ministry and turning 40 in a couple days. It's so crazy.
Welcome to the 40s. I've been there a few years.
But there is a scripture found in Romans 15 that for us summed it all up and sort of changed the reason why we do what we do. And I think people watching, they would see us on a television stage and see the lights and go, wow, what a status to achieve. But this whole network and this whole ministry has been built upon serving others. It's been built upon reaching the last, the lost, and the least. And for us, I'll paraphrase it, I'll give it the best shot. But in the Message translation, Romans 15 says, those of us who are strong in the faith need to jump in and lend a hand to those who falter. Wow. And not just do what's convenient to us. Strength is for service, not status.
Wow.
All right, you redeemed yourself there, Mr. Israel. How long is this interview? Hold up. 14 minutes. Well, we might have to speed this right up, y'all. Okay, let's see what else he has to say.
Strength is for service, not status. And I think, you know, if you're following a career or trying to get after something, maybe somebody's watching going, I want to be the next, I don't know, Carmen or something. Whatever it is, Michael W. Smith, whoever the next you want to be.
American Idol.
The next American Idol, the next Dallas Idol, I don't know. The next Arkansas Idol, I'm not sure. I can help you catch up on a lot. It's not about you.
Come on now.
It's not about me. It's ultimately it's about what am I willing to do? And a lot of times, some of the greatest moments that God will bring you through and bring you to are not on television. They're not. There's nobody there recording it. There's nobody there going, "What a hero!" You know what? And you know what? And I've been telling this story of how my mom came to Christ for the last 20 years in ministry. And just last year, like first week of August, we get this letter. And I've been asked for 20 years, has anybody ever met the person? And, you know, let's celebrate this lady who crossed the street. Yeah. And, wow. and I say it this way, you don't have to cross the world to cross the ocean to change the world. You can cross the street and change the world. And I've said this for years, and I always get asked the question, has anybody seen the lady? And Pastor Joel used this story in a message that he preached last year.
Who?
Joel Osteen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, gotcha.
Little storefront church we got
that little church, yeah.
And this lady saw the program and sent a letter, and she said, if it was Oceanside, California,
come on now,
I think I'm that lady. And she gave some details, and it had always sort of been a cry of my heart to see that reunion. And so I read the letter, I call my mom, I'm like, Mom, sit down, you know, and I read this letter, I say the lady's name, my mom goes, that's her, that's her, that's her. And so within days, we are sitting in this lady's living room and just talking about why? You know? And I asked her, I said, did you have any idea that crossing the street would ultimately touch hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people? And that the story that I've shared in concerts all over the world for the last 2 decades have helped young women not have abortions.
Yeah.
Have helped parents take heart when they felt like their child was just wayward and it wasn't going to work. And I'm saying, listen, don't give up. You know, it was rough, and for a moment it looked like this was all there was, and none of us could see 20, 30, 40 years down the road. And I asked her, I said, why did you do what you did? She goes, because I felt like God had rescued me, and the only thing I could do to respond to that was to rescue somebody else.
Wow.
And so for us, the life of worship is not just about singing. Matter of fact, it has very little to do with music. The life of worship has everything to do with the position of your heart.
Wow.
And can God reach and turn that heart at any time? Like there's some of us watching now and listening now who God has probably been pushing on your heart to talk to that person that you really don't like. Wow. At your workplace or in school. You don't really dig talking to them. They turn you off. And God keeps going, no, you need to serve them. It's not about where you are. It's about where I want to take you.
Wow.
And when you do that, it's amazing what God has in store. And I just encourage people to understand that what we do in singing and in music is 10% of it.
Wow.
The 90% is serving the hurting, serving the broken. I've come to find out, I hope this isn't controversial, but some of the most lonely people I meet are sitting in my row at church.
Wow.
They're sitting in your row at church. Some of the most hurting stories you'll ever come across are people that you're speaking fluent Christianese to.
Wow. Wow.
And I just encourage us to maybe get outside of that a little bit and just lay down our pursuit for status and get just real aggressive about service.
Yes, Pastor, yes. That was a wonderful testimony, Israel. You really tugged at my heartstring. I really feel inspired to serve after hearing your story. God works in mysterious ways. Hallelujah. Although you had a really great testimony, there's a red flag. While he was saying all of these words of affirmation about service and the Lord and his goodness, he was also struggling with his lust, y'all. Just like a lot of men in the Bible, David and Solomon to be exact. Israel was having a long-term affair with his side chick. Yes, y'all, he was creeping while he was saying all of that yik-yak he was talking. Now, let's find out more about his wife, Melissa. I thought her name was Melissa this whole time, but it's Melissa. Lord, I hope I got it right, sis. Let's get into their love story. She was born on March 1st, 1964. Oh my goodness, y'all. Sis is a Pisces. Not our sis also being a water sign. So it looks like Israel has a type. He loves a spicy water sign. Now, there's not much to say about Pisces women, y'all. They are extremely emotional, sensitive, and they are loyal. But don't piss them off, okay? I will never piss off a Pisces. Listen, I'm not scared of too many signs. But Pisces, I am scared of. They may seem sweet on the outside, but they will scorch you. So do not take their kindness for weakness. One thing about it is if you are someone that they love, they will go to bat for you forever. But if you get on their bad side, they are insufferable. They will tag that ass. According to the blog Ammo Mama, Melissa is a singer and composer renowned for her contributions to the band Israel and the New Breed. She co-founded the group alongside her former husband in 1995 in Houston, Texas. During their union, Israel referred to his former wife as the bride of his youth and my baby's mama with no drama. Red flag. So let me get this straight. Mr. Jesus be the center. Not only did she help co-found your band, Israel and the New Breed, and helped you build your career, she also birthed your children. And you sitting here talking about she's the bride of your youth. That's all you could say about her? That she's your baby mama with no drama? All them years that she stuck by your trifling, dirty dick behind? If you're upset because I'm talking about your anointed worship leader, then you might want to exit out of this video right now. You got a lot of nerve talking about her like this. While I understand you have childhood trauma, you're an adult now. So I'm going to treat you like an adult. This woman deserves more than to be called your baby mama with no drama, sir. Her notable compositions include I'm in Love with a Church Girl and Jesus at the Center Live. Y'all remember in part 2, the US Weekly article said that Adrienne and Israel met on the set of I'm in Love with a Church Girl. And imagine his wife was the one who helped to co-write that.
Hi everyone, I'm Israel Houghton, executive producer of the I'm in Love with a Church Girl movie and soundtrack. Got involved with I'm in Love with a Church Girl through some mutual friends and some business people in the music business, in the film business, who saw a screening of the film and said, you know, Israel would be ideal for some of this. And when I got the call from my good friend Danny McGuffey, you know, he put me in touch with Gally. And when I heard Ja Rule is playing the main character, first of all, he's had plenty of screen experience with great videos and stuff. And I didn't know what to expect, honestly, but I was really moved, man. And I thought he delivered in a very, very big way. And I thought the chemistry between him and I just forgot her name. Adrienne.
Red flag. He couldn't remember her name. Look at him scrambling like, oh yeah, what was her name again? Please, Israel. Now, there's one thing I do have to say. We're going to bookmark this part because there are only 2 scenarios I could see playing out here. Either one, he really forgot her name and he wasn't really checking for her like that. She wasn't on his radar. And Adrienne was the one who chased him down to be her friend or got close to him and connected with him or whatnot. Or he was trying to play it off as if he didn't know who she was. But he knew damn well who she was because at the time he was married. Just remember that.
I thought the chemistry between him and Adrienne was believable. It was palatable. You felt the tension. You felt the elation, you know, and again, man, it's a well done movie and very, very well performed by the main characters.
We rapping on day one. It feels real good. Oh, get it. Let's get a look at my co-star. Hey, girl. I'm in love with a 10 girl. All right, now back to me. Come on.
I had an amazing time working on this film. Got to meet up with a good old friend, Ja.
Me and Adrienne we really do have a good chemistry. I've known her for a long time, you know, so I think that helps. You know, the fact that we've known each other. We weren't, you know, total strangers coming on the set, meeting for the first time and having to break that ice. We came in ready to go, and that, you know, I think it's showing on camera.
The first day walking onto the set, you know what? I felt really, really confident. It felt like it was going to be really organic, and I thought that was the best part about it. There was a great comfort level on the set on the first day, and I loved that. I knew that the chemistry was going to be great. It was just a very comfortable set.
We're able to have fun together on the set because, you know, we're feeling the role of the characters, you know, and they're 2 passionate people. And I think, you know, me and Adrienne share that passion as well. You know, we're also 2 passionate people in real life. And I think, you know, when you put that together on the screen, it just explodes.
I thought the chemistry between him and Adrienne was believable. It was palatable. You felt the tension. You felt the elation, you know. And again, man, it's a well done movie and very, very well performed by the main characters.
It was easy, and I think it was easy because we have great chemistry, and I think we had a lot of fun together. We felt very comfortable with one another, so I don't think it was not too many awkward moments. And I think when you have to play that you're in love with somebody, it's important to have that chemistry and to feel comfortable enough to try different things and kissing scenes and whatnot. So I'm glad that we were comfortable and cool with each other.
So, do either of you cook?
I do.
I'm learning.
Okay. Who are you?
Don't make funny faces. I'm learning.
Did you learn anything?
Chopping and mincing.
You
That's
said
all I
you were
know.
watching the show on that. I thought you learned it from the cookbook.
From the
Did you learn
cookbook.
anything?
I made the tilapia. I made a corn chili tilapia and it was
You did.
very good.
She took pictures of it.
And I showed him.
Ja Rule and Adrienne's chemistry, it kind of scared me at first because the fact is, we've got these two characters who supposedly have never met, but they're actually really great friends off screen. They come to set and they have such great chemistry, but what happened was the first time that they meet, you could just see the connection between the two of them, and it's like love at first sight. So that love at first sight really kind of worked out in our advantage, because the fact is that when they first meet and they shake hands, you see these two, and it's genuine.
The sense that it's beyond my grasp, but I can't tell.
So it looks like while she was holding him down, he was holding other women down. That's what he was doing. Mr. Taurus. That's what he does. He likes the stability of having somebody in the background doing all the grunt work while he goes and finagles outside. That's what he likes. Y'all really think that pattern has changed? We will get there. Now, continuing on. Her talent eventually led her to score a Grammy nomination in the Best Performance/Song category for the track How Awesome Is Your God. Congratulations, sis. You got a lot of accolades here. Very accomplished and talented musician. The song Others is another collaborative effort between the duo. Her then husband mentioned that Melissa had a penchant for crafting powerful and raw lyrics, as exemplified by the opening lines of the said track. Besides the band she co-founded with him and the New Breed Ministries. This organization consists of musicians and singers dedicated to serving their respective churches and collectively contributing to the broader Christian community. Very little is known about Melissa and Israel's marriage. However, in a 2007 interview with Ebony Magazine, her former spouse described her as the one. Yeah, the one for right now. We already know, because you didn't last with her, so please. But anyways, we gonna keep reading. While it was not revealed in the interview how the couple first met, her ex-husband said, "The second I shook her hand, I knew she would be my wife. They tied the knot within 4 months." During their union, Israel referred to his former wife as the bride of his youth and my baby's mama with no drama. We already went through that. However, Israel revealed in 2016 that their marriage had been over for quite some time. Melissa's ex-husband opened up about their divorce in a 2019 interview and said that they split due to a variety of circumstances. The decision to divorce was not abrupt. It took them a long process, including 5 years of separation. On why it took a long time, he said they wanted to ensure their children could cope with the situation. Despite being urged to share the whole story, he chose to keep quiet to avoid causing harm to others. All right, that's his story and he's sticking to it. But let's get to the real story, because y'all know I like to investigate. So while Israel can fool these folks, he can't fool me.
All right, so take me back. I'm on Facebook. I see a post from you, and you're making an admission, and so many people are stunned. I'm concerned because you're my guy. You're definitely my guy. Take me back. What happened?
Well, again, like I said earlier, I didn't say it earlier here. I said it earlier on another show.
No problem.
I said, you don't wake up on a Tuesday and go, I think I'm going to get divorced today.
Yeah.
That is a long time coming.
Yeah.
And so we had, 5 years of separation and trying to keep up appearances and figure out what we were going to do. And so by the time I had announced it, this had already been way done.
Got it.
But I announced it later, so it wasn't like, hey, just left the courthouse, I'm divorced. It wasn't like that. I wanted to make sure my kids could handle, everything that would come and all the various blogs and comments, etc.
Oh, man.
And for the most part, I felt a great outpouring of support and, and again, I didn't even bother telling people, hey, this has been over for years, but, you're just now catching up.
Right.
Because a lot of people, once the blog started jumping on it, I've been asked a lot, how did you handle that circus? And I was like, I had gone through the circus by myself.
Got it.
Way, way before that.
Red flag. As if you weren't the one causing the circus, Mr. Israel Anointed Houghton. You are acting as if you're the victim already. Oh, it's the blogs, and you know, I was already in the circus, so I knew how to deal with it. Sir, be for real. Let's continue hearing him lie and deceive us. Just like a character in the Bible that we all know very well. Y'all know who is the character of chaos.
What complicated things was that shortly after that, I started a relationship with my now wife.
Yeah.
Adrienne. It was like 2 months after that announcement. But you got to understand there was the announcement, but there was like so much time prior to the announcement. I keep trying to say that because people have trouble with math.
Yeah.
Red flag. So you think we have trouble with math, Israel? And that things were already done with you and your wife before you got with Adrienne. That's what you telling all of us, and that we're stupid. I'm going to let you finish your thought right here, and we going to get right to the truth. Because I see here that you like to deceive and lie, and you lack accountability. Let's listen to this word salad that you're trying to feed us right now before we get right to business.
And so there were people that, because she's a public person, people came for her saying, oh, she's the reason he got divorced.
Wow.
She wrecked the house. She wrecked the home. And I'm like, no. So that's literally in the last 3 years, Roy, I've only made 2 statements ever. This is the first time I'm talking about it. I've only made 2 statements. One, hey, I got divorced, due to a bunch of circumstances. I said I failed in my marriage. People, that was open up to a lot of interpretation. Well, what did he do?
Right.
And then, a few months later, making another announcement that, hey, by the way, yes, I am in this relationship. She has nothing to do with what was going on in my life 5 years ago. We didn't know each other. Everybody calm down. And I tried to get people to understand it, but, we live in a crazy time, bro, where
we do.
If it ever ends up on the net, you're done.
It must be true.
It's forever. But that thing hangs out forever. So I did something that I've probably never done in my life, and that is I kept my mouth shut.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to start with, first of all, the two of you. How did you guys meet? And tell us a bit of your love story, because I think that'll set up the whole journey.
We actually met in New York at a church in Brooklyn called CCC, and it's A.R. Bernard's church, and we met for the first time while doing promotion for a movie called I'm in Love with a Church Girl that you may or may not have seen on BET.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I actually filmed the movie. That was in 2013, but I filmed the movie in 2010. And it was a movie I did with Ja Rule. I'm the church girl. He's out here being thug life, and he meets a church girl. She changes his life. You get the point. And Israel actually came onto the project. When was it? Maybe
top of 2012, I think, to basically work on music for it.
Yeah.
And I ended up becoming an executive producer and owning half the company and doing all of the score and being a producer on the film. So I then became in charge of all the promotions and stuff like that. So we wrapped a tour bus and went to all these churches and places and would do, clips from the movie, and we would do live music, and then I'd talk to the cast about, their process in the movie and whatever. And we got it released in theaters, and that was all cool. The day I met her was September 22nd, 2013. And I know that because I also met her entire family at the same.
Let's recap where we left off with Israel and his trifling behind. In part 2, we went over his divorce announcement, which was published in February of 2016. Now, in March of 2016, Adrienne and Israel were caught by paparazzi cameras canoodling into Mexico. Now, remember, Israel was a musician and a ministry leader at Lakewood Church, which y'all all know is headed by Pastor Joel Osteen.
Introduce someone that we all know. Israel's been with us for 10 years here at Lakewood, but I know you love him. You've heard him minister in music, but Israel's speaking more and more often. I said, Israel, you're speaking out other places. You got to come speak for us here at Lakewood. And he's been with us 10 years, like I mentioned. He's won 4 Grammy Awards already and many other awards. Israel's a modern day psalmist. I mean, some of the songs that we sing, some of the well-known songs. Think about Friend of God. I've heard that all over the world. I remember the first time he sang it at our old auditorium on a Wednesday night. He sang the first part of it, and he stopped in the middle. He said, "That's going to be good, isn't it?" And I thought, yeah, it's real good. But I heard he wrote the song, "You Are Good All the Time, Lord, You Are Good." I heard that on a national commercial for a cell phone in the background. You are good all the time. I thought, well, he wrote that. He wrote it for the Lord, but I'm just telling you the influence God's given him. He goes all over the world. He comes right out of Lakewood. He's a part of our team. So give him a great big Lakewood welcome today. His beautiful wife, Melissa, too.
My people! Oh, man. I like to start with something funny. Here's what's funny. I'm standing up here speaking. That's what's funny. And what's also funny is the look on some of your faces like, no way. Pastor Joel's not speaking? Is this some sort of joke? And I apologize. He'll be in the pulpit next week. Since I only speak every couple years or so here, I want to give you a little bit of background about myself. I'm cross-cultural, which is a nice way of saying I'm half black and half white. That would make me a Half-African American. The story's simple. It goes like this. My mother was white, and actually she still is white. Still holding it down. My father was black, and my mother got pregnant when she was 17. She was still in high school. She's walking, minding her own business, and across the street a lady saw her and stopped, got out of her car, and literally ran across the street to where she was and walked up to her and said, "Listen, I don't know you, and I don't know anything about you, but I just had to come and tell you that Jesus loves you." And that's how I got my name, because the lady gave her a Bible, and my mother started reading it like a novel. So she started in Genesis, and when Jacob's name was changed to Israel, she said, "That's my life. That's my new life." And that's how I got my name. I'm thankful that Jesus said yes before fully understanding what it was going to feel like, what it was going to cost him. I got the thought around this concept. My wife and I, Melissa, the beautiful Melissa, have been married 17 years. You can clap for that, because like in 2011, that's like 39 years.
Red flag. This man is diabolical. He is wicked. Wicked. I'm gonna let y'all know why he's wicked. This sermon was filmed in 2011. He was married to Melissa for 17 years. Y'all heard him say, everybody clapping. And he knows damn well at that time that he had a whole side chick. And matter of fact, not only did he have a side chick, but she gave birth to 2 kids. One in 2012 and one in 2014. So while this man is up on the pulpit preaching about the power of saying yes, and everybody's like clapping for him being married for 17 years, meanwhile, he's in the background on demon time. Is this what it has come to, Israel? You weren't scared of bursting into flames? What's even worse is the fact that he went on that interview talking about, oh, it's the blouse. And we had already been separated 5 years. Is that so, Israel? Because by my calculation and timeline, I know I'm not a math whiz, but I know how to count backwards. 5 years from 2016 would have been 2011. And guess what, Mr. Israel? That's when you were on the pulpit at Joel Osteen's church, acting as if Melissa was still your wife.
"Good morning, baby." She'd say, "Good morning." I said, I'm sorry. "Why? What did you do? What did you say?"
Red flag. He was already having a guilty conscience. That's why he kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. He knew damn well what he was doing. And look at him trying to make it seem like it's just a small story. He's a manipulator, double-minded, in all his ways. Why didn't you preach that, Israel? It's in James, in case you didn't know. But nope, you're only gonna preach the things that make you feel like you're being a good man. But you're not. You're cosplaying.
I said, well, nothing yet. But at some point today, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to cash that sorry in. I just want to remind you that I got the sorry out of the way first. And it was a joke of ours and clever. And from time to time, I'll do it. I did it yesterday morning. Just get the yes out of the way. Start by saying, hey, good morning, God. Yes. Just say the word. And it's done. Their yes, just coming to Christ, their yes triggered the grace of God. Amen. If you're married, all you have at the beginning is a yes. I don't care how many books you read, how many experts Oprah had on her show. It doesn't matter. Nothing prepares you for the fine print behind the yes, I do. Because at that time, it's like everybody's in white, and she looks so beautiful, and he actually looks handsome, and she has the thought that this guy is going to come home every day at 5:15 p.m., dinner's going to be on the table, we're going to have 2.5 kids, we're going to say grace, and he's never going to want to play golf, he's never going to want to watch TV, he's always going to pick up his clothes, drawers off the floor and stuff. I didn't realize how selfish I was as an individual until I got married. I thought I was just a nice singer guy. And then, you're in the forming stage. All you have is a yes. You don't even recognize that it's grace sustaining you in that. And then you realize that the placement of my toothpaste is really important to me. I didn't realize that before. I'll just move on from there. I love you, baby.
Unfortunately for Israel, Lakewood Church wasn't as forgiving. They decided to kick his behind all the way to the curb. They're like, looky here, I don't know what you guys do over in California, but here in Texas, we have Christian family values, and we're not going to have none of this anointed cheating business up in our church. So they packed him and the new breed up out of there with the quickness. Now let's get to that story. Radar Online published an article titled Joel Osteen puts Adrienne Bailon boyfriend on indefinite leave amid cheating scandal. Adrienne Bailon's new boyfriend, Israel Houghton, has been booted from his 5-year position as a minister at Joel Osteen's Texas Superchurch / Megachurch amid cheating rumors, RadarOnline.com has learned. Houghton, 44, worked as a minister at Lakewood Church as far back as 2011. But recently, RadarOnline.com reported he was mysteriously wiped from the website. A rep for the church told RadarOnline.com that he is no longer part of the fold after announcing his divorce amid cheating rumors in February. Although a rep for Houghton claims he has taken, quote, a personal sabbatical of his choosing, unquote, and remains on staff. Yeah, they lying. The rep continued, Lakewood Church is not at liberty to discuss publicly any details regarding Israel's personal situation, but stands ready to provide Israel with spiritual counseling and guidance should he choose to seek it. As RadarOnline.com reported, Houghton was spotted on a steamy Mexican getaway with Bailon at the Dreams Resort in Tulum over the weekend. He was still wearing a wedding band, although he announced in February that he and his wife Melissa were splitting after 20 years. He admitted at the time that he had, quote, failed and sinned, unquote, against his wife. A defiant Houghton insisted yesterday, however, that Bailon 32 was not the other woman responsible for the breakdown of his marriage. Now let's read what he wrote, y'all. In the midst of all that's going on in the world, suffering, terrorism, deciding a future for our country, and making the world safer. It is sad that I am even having to address this matter. I understand that gossip and salacious, untrue, speculative stories are far more interesting and entertaining than the truth and facts. But it's incredibly unfair to allow someone to carry the burden, blame, and shame of something they had nothing to do with.
And I just hit it off so well with them, specifically her brother-in-law, who's now like one of my best friends in the world. And
You guys kept in touch more.
we kept in touch, and yeah, I lived in LA and she lived in LA, so occasionally she'd like throw a Taco Tuesday party and be like, "Hey, y'all come out." Like
I'm good for a theme, you know, a little sip and paint vibe.
Good for a theme.
And all these parties, and Ja would come at the time.
Yeah,
T-Bone,
yeah.
get like there was like a squad of us that had done the film. We still all kept in touch and had like a group of friends, and then so that is how we met.
And we were friends for 3.5 years. I went through a divorce during that time.
Yeah.
She went through a breakup.
Had a fiance.
After that time, she was engaged to be married to somebody. And
It's usually what you're engaged to be married.
and then one day we were like,
She was engaged to be married to someone.
As opposed to engaged
But
in a...
Then we ended up moving into the same building. I think that's where it got romantic.
Red flag. How did this happen, Adrienne? So all of a sudden, the wording changed. Remember, he said he had separated from his wife 5 years prior. Then now he's like, yeah, I was going through a divorce when I met her. And then we found out you guys got divorced in February of 2016, but then somehow you popped out in March. So somewhere in those 3 years that y'all were, quote unquote, grieving the loss of your previous relationships and whatnot, you found a way to move into her apartment building. Okay, so again, this was premeditated, y'all. This wasn't some situation of, oh yeah, we just happened to be together, we were friends. No, these are two of the same people. Your patterns, if you don't fix them, they will attract who you are at the current moment. So notice, if you ever get in a relationship and you outgrow the person, just remember that you probably were operating in similar patterns of the person. They are mirroring you. And so once you heal and you get away from it and you remove yourself, then you're going to start to see the person for who they are. They were you prior. Adrienne and Israel, they have not healed, y'all. Do not believe whatever they're selling you. You will see in this video why I believe they did not change. But again, you can be the judge. I'm laying out all the evidence and you guys will decide what you think. However, in my opinion, they have not changed one iota because she literally repeated the same patterns of behavior that she has done in her past relationships. They are both the same person, y'all. Match made in hell.
Was like once you moved into my building. He moved into my building, you guys. I lived in the penthouse. He was on the second floor. But pretty much I threw a party. He came over. He was like, I'm going through a divorce. I'm going to need to find somewhere nearby. You had a house in Malibu at the time and you were like, I just need a place. He's like, do you know if there's any more apartments? But I was like, no problem. I will take you to the leasing office. And so he ended up getting an apartment there. And I think that's where our real friendship grew.
God's timing.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I needed to feel like I had a partner, that matched energy and vibes and fun, etc., dreams, passions. And when we met, it was like, when we got married, we knew right away, like,
red flag, as if Melissa didn't help you to form Israel and the new breed, you ungrateful, bald-headed, dirty, fake-ass pastor. You have the gall to say this on an interview as if your wife of 20 years did not hold you down while you were pursuing your musical career. She even helped you write lyrics to songs. Even helped you with I'm in love with a church girl. You have the audacity to talk out of your thick ass neck. And now here you go, giving all the praise and accolades to Adrienne. Sis was raised and conditioned to be a doormat. Not only that, but to be weak and male identified. And to only feel fulfilled when she was up under a man. This is the true pattern here. She is seeing the positive in this dirty, messy situation. Instead of her being like, look, I understand, what you're going through, and I'll pray for you, brother. But you need to go get therapy. You need to go seek counsel outside of me, because I am not qualified to counsel you as a young single woman. You need to go get your life together. That's what you need to focus on. But look at them here. She found the romance in this, y'all. It turned her on. It turned her on to fix him. That's what she does. She's a rescue ranger.
I hope you're doing good today, because today is a very special day, because we have decided that instead of dedicating just one day to Valentine's Day, we've dedicated 5. It's our week of love.
Guess what, guys?
What?
What? I'm dating.
Oh!
Yeah. So I will have a Valentine's Day. I love that.
Red flag. Y'all want to know when this was aired? This was aired February 8th of 2016. Israel announced his divorce to the world on February 23rd of 2016. Both of y'all are liars. Red flags all around, but we already knew this.
We all just wanted to know what had happened to you on the break.
Well, this may come as a shock to some of you guys, but after about a year of being single, I am now dating.
Good for you.
With that being said, while I was on vacation in Mexico, paparazzi took some photos of me and the guy that I'm dating. His name is Israel Houghton. And I think, you know, it is important to clarify some things. So I know a lot of blogs went crazy, but that's why I'm here to set the record straight. So this man pictured here is not married.
How about that?
Praise God. First things first, I think it's important to clarify things, because people can put up headlines and you run away with that and no one actually reads sometimes the articles, or somehow they miss big public announcements.
Or they just be talking about stuff they don't know nothing about. How about that?
That too.
Okay, what happened?
Okay,
What happened?
so with that being said, he had actually put out a statement. He is single, number one, and I think the other thing people were saying was that I was the cause of his divorce, which I think any divorce is obviously a sad thing people have to go through. It takes time to get through that sort of thing, and I think no one put that time together. I think you see an announcement made, you know, at the top of this year, and then you see these photos and you say to yourself, well, let's put this together. But this is why I'm grateful for moments like this, because it allows you to set the facts straight. And God forbid the facts get in the way of a really good, juicy story. Yeah. I'm going to say the truth, and the truth of the matter is that isn't the case. He obviously is divorced. He had put out a statement saying that he had failed in his marriage, and it was about 5 years back. I didn't know him at that time. So to put that blame on me was obviously hurtful. I think, you know, I love that you guys reached out. It was unfair. As two single people, we were friends for 2.5 years from doing promo and stuff like that. Another clarification, he was not besties with Lenny, who I also got a great phone call from, who was like, I pray that you are not on those blogs, Adrienne. Don't you allow...
Your ex-fiance.
My ex-fiance gave me a call. He's a great guy. And I think just hearing that phone call and somebody reaching out and saying, hey, I'm calling to make sure you're okay, because I know who you are. These people don't know who you are. Don't allow them to define you. Don't allow these blogs to even upset you. I got a call from Tamar that pretty much said, Adrienne, if you're not having a margarita in Mexico, I'm coming over there to slap you.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I feel like you did this for you, but you don't deserve. You don't have to explain your life to anybody. Right. You know, I love you. I know you. You're a great woman. I know Israel. I love Israel. He's a great guy and a great dad. And, you know, you guys don't have to explain your relationship to anybody, you know? You guys know what you have. It's something special. It's something magical. We're married. We can...
Red flag. Tamar, sis, what do you mean this man's a good guy? He literally had a side chick for X amount of years. And he literally just left his marriage. And he's a good man. I'm not surprised that she's co-signing Adrienne, because guess what? They are both water signs. Matter of fact, both Lonnie and Tamara are Cancers. So we got 4 water signs at the table. Where are you, Earth sign? Jeannie is so quiet. We need you, Jeannie. I mean, I know you're a little bit delulu and you do be capping as a Capricorn, but damn, at least you have some damn sense. The water sign ladies, y'all needs to go. y'all needs to go. Because let me tell you something. One other thing I forgot to say about water signs is that they're hella delusional. Tamar, you could really sit up here and let sis know that, oh yeah, you a good woman and Israel's a good man, so y'all belong together. How? How is he good? See, we need somebody on the table to knock some sense into them. They need an air sign up in there. Just not Libra. Libras are on the same wave. I don't know how Libras made it to the air sign, but we need an air sign or a fire sign, because your water signs, you guys are losing the plot. Get them all off the panel, except for Jeannie. She was smart. She didn't say nothing.
See, when you got something real, and it's something real, and you don't owe this explanation to anybody. So I just want you to know, you have to vindicate yourself. You're a wonderful woman, a good woman, and God bless you guys.
Thank you so much.
It's hard out here trying to find love, child. So get your life.
It's hard. He's a great guy, and I'm really happy. But I'm glad we were able to set that straight. I felt like I was gonna have to be Marsha Clark. I'm obsessed with O.J. Simpson trial. I was gonna be like Exhibit A. You're right. It doesn't need explanation. I know the truth, and I think when you have friends and loved ones that know your truth, and you know that God defines who I am.
How about that?
You know what I mean? I think God knows my period. God knows the situation, and I think that I can rest in that.
And I want to say something. They're married.
Yeah.
So it's a different lifestyle when you're married versus when you're dating.
Very different. Oh, yeah.
And that's the reason why some people express what they do on the show, because they're married and they know that they have their definite partners. We don't know what we're going to happen.
You don't jump out the gate and start dating somebody and go make announcements. You let things build up. You find out where it's going.
Yeah, because you don't want to look like a hoe in these streets. You know?
Exactly.
You told everybody about them. And
the person you spend quality time with to get to know with, you don't go and make that sort of let these things take time.
Exactly.
Adrienne, that's your business.
How about that?
It's your business and no one else.
But everybody wants to make assumptions. I just hate that you had to go through that, because we know that you're a good girl.
It shouldn't have. You didn't drink enough. That's the problem.
Okay. Israel, you have to be honest on in good faith. That's our one rule. There's no lying.
Oh, that's our rule?
That's our rule.
That's our rule.
Did you move into her building with an intention of progressing the relationship with this stunning woman who you had met?
Fantastic question. I think gun to my head, subconsciously, yes. Did I think I ever had a shot? No.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Red flag. Wait a damn minute. Adrienne, sis, you were laboring for this man? Picking up his mail? You're telling me that this man, as much money as he has, he does not have a personal assistant or executive assistant to do this work because that's what they get paid for? No, you're going to do it for free. At least they get paid. Red flag again. And not only that, but notice how he couldn't even answer the question. Hypothetically, subliminally, he does not like to be accountable, y'all. He will run away from everything. Run away from the truth. Run away from accountability. He's just a runaway. You have this man already moving into your apartment building. I done told y'all Taurus men are stalkers. They will put trackers under your car. You thought I was joking? I was serious. I know somebody who did that. We have this situation where he moves into your apartment building. And he explicitly said that he didn't think he had a shot because you're out of his league. But you have such low self-esteem that you made yourself lower to meet him. Because best believe, even though he has money, he's not all the way wrapped up too tight up there. He needs help. But instead of you putting up boundaries, you just fell right along with it. Why? Because that's what you do, Adrienne. You like to fix wounded men. He was your new client. And now she's picking up his mail, helping him out. Let's be clear, y'all. A lot of men, as they age, they need caretakers. This man was middle-aged. He did not want to be alone. He is used to having a caretaker. Hell, he was married for 20 years. And not only that, but then in between that had a side chick. And now Adrienne has filled that void. I've seen enough, Adrienne. I've seen enough. Pack this up. Pack this right up. But of course, we have the case study. I got to finish this. But I'm done with you, sis. I mean, I can't imagine you going lower than this. This is really extremely frightening for the simple fact that I know there's a lot of girls out there like you who do this. If you have a lot of childhood trauma and you find yourself operating like Adrienne, please get help. I'm being very serious at this moment. Please get help. please do it. Because it's not worth it, y'all. Look at her. Embarrassing. She should be ashamed right now, but she's not. Sis does not want to be saved. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved.
Because the majority of the time that he lived downstairs, he was touring.
Yeah,
You were traveling. So my job was pretty much to pick up his packages. Like, that was the deal. We lived in a building that had like those lockers, and you'd get a code and you'd have to go to the number of the locker and open it. And my job while he was on the road was to go get the code and get the packages. And I remember one day going and getting packages, and I think you text me and you're like, hey, did you get it? And I'm like, yeah. You're like, did you open it? I'm like, dude, I don't open your packages. What? He's like, no, it's for you. And I was like, oh, okay. And I opened it, and I love to collect vinyls. And you had like bought me vinyls, and you're like, yeah, you need to like round out your collection. And I remember sitting.
Oh my guy.
Does this man like me? Like, why did you buy me vinyls? Like, I thought it was the sweetest thing ever. And I remember telling a girlfriend of mine, Angie, I was like, I think this guy likes me. And now that I'm thinking about it, I would like him too. And she was like, well, you just have to kiss him to know if there's like an actual romantic thing there.
Yeah.
Red flag. So now it has come to light that Angie Martinez was the one who set these two up. Instead of being real with her friend and being like, hey, I don't think you should get involved with this man. He just got out of a long-term marriage. He needs to fix himself. There's so many other guys out there that will have what you need, sis. You don't need to go and be with this man. Get away from that mindset. Let's steer you in the right direction. She enabled her. What is Angie Martinez's sign? We gonna find out right now. And lo and behold, sis is an earth sign. Oh my goodness. Capricorn to be exact. See, y'all ain't gonna catch a break today. The Cap and Capricorn strike again.
And pause. Our first kiss was captured by TMZ in Mexico.
Well, there you go.
So all hell broke loose after that.
Yeah.
So you're just feeling it out.
We were good together. Because, like, I expect her to go, hey, this is too heavy for me, you crazy church people, and I don't know what's going on, and I'm out. Because her publicists were like, get away from this guy. He's radioactive right now.
Yeah.
And instead, she's like, I was your friend before all this went down, and I'm going to be your friend through it all. And I was like, I'm going to marry you. And 9 months later, we were married, I think. Something like that.
That's so
It was 9 months later? I didn't know it was, wow.
Can I say, we got all the crap out of the way in 3 years of just being friends. Yeah. Because in it,
how about that?
First people I told, like, okay, here's what I'm actually going through. This is how I've actually torpedoed my life. This is actually what is not in the news yet, but when it is, it's going to be a rough one. And she's like, okay, well, sucks to be you, but, you know, where are we going to lunch? And it was just very chill like that.
A foundation built on trauma and trauma bonding. That's basically what this is. Everything that they've said so far has been her laboring for him, her accepting him for his ain't shit ways, and also them accelerating this whole entire process. And then they're selling it to you and trying to gaslight you about the timeline so you can be distracted not to look at what the foundation is. But, you know, of course, I'm going to have some people flying in and caping for this couple. You need to leave them alone. Why don't you mind your own business? Well, why are you here then? Why are you here? We all should be learning something from this relationship. I really hope that this love never finds none of y'all. And if it does, let me know how it goes so I could do a case study on it.
And, man, I even told her, like, we had very reckless conversations as friends. I'd be like, I'm never getting married again. And
I had reckless conversations. Like, now that I look back and I'm like, I married him, he's my husband. I then think about our conversations. Like, I would get, like, flowers in my dressing room at the Real from different, like, athletes. And I don't know a thing about sports. So Israel was the guy I would call and be like, does he play well? Like, is he someone I good? Like, should I be receiving these flowers? Like,
and I'm like, well, he leads the league in rushing, and so that's probably pretty good.
I don't. What does rushing mean?
He's a running back, baby. Oh. They hand him the ball and then he runs.
I thought you were going to say he leads.
What is rushing? Is he fraternity, sorority?
Right now, I was like, Russia. Anyway. Like, that was our conversation. Like, I would tell him things that if I had known I was going to marry him, I would have never said.
Yeah.
But that's what I loved most about our friendship
Wow.
was that he saw me at my ugliest, like picking up packages with my hair in a bun if I had a cold, or like we never attempted to impress each other because we never thought we'd be together.
Yeah.
Remember in part 2 when I told y'all to bookmark how she felt with Lenny and they were friends and they would meet each other at the studio and she could be herself with her hair tied up in a bun? Here we go again. Same pattern, different man.
So I think that there's this weird thing that happens when you're interested in somebody, or even now when I see my girlfriends on apps and they're like, okay, so what should I wear? I'm like, wear what you would wear. Like,
Come on.
representative that comes and meets people when there's an idea that there's going to be a romantic thing happening, that they want to show their best versions of themselves. They want you to hear all the good things about who they are in relationships versus us. We were literally telling each other, this is the worst of who I am.
Jeez.
And this is the ugly parts of me. And I'm a total disaster. I'm a mess. And then we were like,
let's be disasters together.
But I still love you and really like you.
Adrienne and Israel showed the public how love conquers all and that God can really send you somebody else's husband.
God said, I will heal you from backsliding. I will heal you from backsliding.
8 months after he announced that he was getting a divorce from his wife, Melissa, Israel popped the question and asked Adrienne to be his rib.
Adrienne, speaking of exciting, is there anything else you would like to announce?
All right. Sure you guys have heard, but I, want to tell you all how it happened, but I think I need a little help from someone. So without further ado, let me introduce to you my favorite human being on the planet to ever exist, the love of my life, my best friend, my fiance, Mr. Israel Houghton.
I figured I was supposed to do a dance coming out. That was a rule.
Well, you know what? You've been on our show before, so welcome back.
Thank you.
Also, congratulations.
Thank you.
And it wouldn't be the real if we didn't ask you, how did this go down? We want to know. We're being nosy.
Her dad, Papa Joe, who I love, I think is an amazing man, said, hey, I need some ideas. We're going to, we're celebrating our 19-year anniversary. What do you suggest we do? Yeah. Once we figured out the times, I was like, we're going to be in Paris, so you guys should come to Paris. So I worked it out to get them there.
I didn't know any of this. My mom and dad, like my whole family knew. They knew they were going, and they're like lying to me. I'm thinking they're home in New York. Yeah. And this whole time, you guys, they were in Paris living it up. So I'm actually taking a shower and getting ready for the day. We get to Paris. I'm getting ready for the day. And all of a sudden, I hear this knock on my door, but I'm literally in the shower like who could be knocking on my door? Like, it is in the room next door. I'm like, what is happening here? So I throw my robe on, soaking wet out of the shower. And I'm like, what is the problem? I open the door. It's him standing at the door with my parents. And I was like, wait, what? I was bugging out. They had champagne. They're like, my parents are toasting to their, he's like, I've got them here for, that's the picture. See how crazy I look? In my robe. So one of the nights we're going to dinner, the second night, and pretty much he took me on a private yacht. It was just us with my parents.
I asked the captain because the lights sparkle on the Eiffel Tower every hour for 5 minutes. Right. So I said, toward the end of that, make sure we're right by the tower.
Oh my gosh!
Right? She was looking out the window. I said, turn around. And I gave her a bunch of these white rose petals.
And he told me, you guys know I'm obsessed with social media and Instagram. So they're like, 1, 2, 3. I throw it, and he was on his knee. You're good. You're good. It's so cute. Okay, wait, so what's going on through your mind at that time? Are you nervous? Do you think she suspects anything?
Of course I'm nervous. This is a once-in-a-lifetime woman.
I don't know why. When he got down on his knee, babe, I looked at you and I got down with you. But I don't know why. So we both end up on our knees on the floor.
Like, please get up. This is so...
And then he proposed to me. Then I was like, what?
Of course you had to make it dramatic, Adrienne. Red flag. First of all, he said she's a once-in-a-lifetime woman. Sir, you done ran through a whole bunch of women, and finally you realize you found the one. When he got down on one knee, she got down on one knee. Why? Why, Adrienne? Why? Get up, Adrienne. For the love of God, stand up. Stand up. This is embarrassing. You've embarrassed yourself enough. How low do you need to go, Adrienne? We get it. You're desperate. You really wanted it. But damn it, at least enjoy the moment. Why do you have to be on your knees as well? Why?
Am I on the floor? Yeah. I might as well ask you to marry me too.
Well, you know what?
Guess what? We both said yes.
Look at that.
And you know what? I think it's only appropriate if we give this little celebration a champagne toast.
Ooh,
Where is the drink?
For the gram. Do it for the gram.
I ain't gonna do it.
Do it for the gram.
I ain't gonna do it.
Do it for the, I'm gonna do it. Okay. So I turn around and I'm like, on the count of 3, right? Because I'm thinking I'm doing it for a shot. So baby, you count.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
One, I'm going to.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, bling.
And he was on his knee and they captured it in slow motion. The problem is I would give you that footage, but my mother was the one filming and she did a terrible job.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. So it's not,
So
I love you, mommy, but that's not your strength. Guys, am I the only bride? Please let me know in the comments. Am I the only bride that when you see someone down on your knee, I got down with him? I was like, oh.
Yes, sis, you're the only one. We are not weak in the knees like that. And notice, he is a very romantic man. Didn't we learn that about Taurus men? It makes sense that Israel would be extremely detail-oriented. This makes sense because, one, he's a musician. And, musicians, they have to have a strong attention to detail. And also, he's a cheater, was a cheater. Who even knows if he still is? But in order to be a cheater, you got to cover your tracks. You got to be really good with the details. You got to remember your lies. You got to remember where you went. This man was able to keep a secret for many, many years. So he's very good with being detailed. Let's continue.
I was so nervous. You don't even understand.
Red flag. Nervous? Why? This is your second go around, Israel. Please. Why is he always acting like it's his first time ever doing something? You weren't nervous when you had all them damn kids, and you damn sure weren't nervous when you proposed to Melissa after 4 months of knowing her. Please, let's not act like this is brand new and this is your first time and this is your first rodeo, Israel. Save that for the church. And FYI, your jacket's too tight. Red flag. Get a bigger jacket, Israel. Trying to fit into something that don't even fit you. See, this is how I know you're not honest with yourself. You need to go back to the clothing store. Return that and get your size. Get your proper size. Please.
I was so nervous. You don't even understand. So I'm shoving it onto her middle finger like, it's so terrible.
And then I see the ring. I literally tell him, what did you get me? I'm like, I'm going to get robbed in the street for this ring. I'm like, I'm scared. And then later on, we were flying home from Paris. Remember, I was like, babe, my ring is kind of obnoxious.
Obnoxious was the word.
And what did you say?
That was the whole idea.
We got to get into the 2 kids he had outside his marriage, y'all. Because it's explosive. Israel Houghton reportedly had 2 kids outside his marriage, y'all. So let's get into it. The drama continues to follow gospel singer Israel Houghton and his relationship with Adrienne Bailon. Over the weekend, rumors swirled that Houghton allegedly fathered 2 love children. He has 4 from his marriage. No, he doesn't. He has 3. While Israel was in college, he had a baby out of wedlock.
I've been a father for 31 years.
It's interesting because the parent that you were 31 years ago is probably very different than the parent that you are now. I mean,
I can help you real quick with that.
Yeah.
So Mariah's going to be 29.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So Mariah technically was my first child in the sense of the child that I helped raise.
Mm-hmm.
I have an older son who I didn't know I was his father until he was almost 5. We have a great relationship now, but and he's 31.
Mm-hmm.
This man was cheating and creeping. Not only did he do that, but he had 2 side babies. So this is what he didn't want the world to know. And it lines up with what we read about children who were abandoned by a parent. This man has attachment issues. This falls under the section where they were talking about cheating and infidelity. This is it right here. Let's continue reading. And now, the Texas State Attorney General issuing the gospel singer for back in current child support. He was in arrears for child support. He ain't pay his child support payment. Red flag. How you a millionaire and you can't even pay child support? You dusty Israel. Houghton has admitted to being the father of one of the 2 rumored children, Kingston, but the courts are still waiting to determine whether he's the father of the youngest. The Attorney General is reportedly asking Houghton to provide tax returns, checking and saving account statements, 401k information, proof of health insurance, and income history in order to determine the child support payments. Red flag. Mind you, this article was published in October of 2016, y'all. This all went down before they got married. So Adrienne knew about it and she didn't care. She did not give a damn because she finally got a husband of her own. This is the love story that she has been dreaming about her whole entire life. Let's get to their wedding. On November 11, 2016, Adrienne and Israel tied the knot in Paris. Now, I do realize that November 11th is right around the corner, so happy anniversary to both of you. In typical Adrienne fashion, she went on the reel and shared the details of their wedding and how the event went.
Over the weekend in a beautiful ceremony in Paris. How are you feeling, my darling?
I feel amazing. I just like hearing that out loud. Over again, Mrs. Houghton.
Mrs. Adrienne Houghton.
I like it.
Okay. Well, you know what? Later on in the show, we'll be taking you to Paris as we show you everything, the stunning details of her big day. It's incredible. You don't want to miss it. Seriously. Oh, great.
Tomorrow, at this time, I will be Adrienne Eliza.
It's going to be amazing. As my kids would say, it's going to be lit.
It means so much to me. I am marrying the man of my dreams. And I couldn't be happier. And I just to do it here in Paris, just such a magical and special place for us. Tomorrow is going to be a celebration of that love. Let's have fun. Let's have a good time. We are in Paris.
So it was really important to me that the women in my family pray over me. I have like amazing women in my life and they've been through so much and they're strong.
Yeah, y'all gonna need to pray. Make sure that the cheating spirit and the lust demon that's within Israel doesn't reemerge. Keep that monster contained. Yes, Lord, pray for that. Make sure you also pray over some holy oil. The anointed one, of course, make sure you get that prayer in check. Then you're going to take some cinnamon and spices. And what you're going to do is make sure that you mix it in with castor oil. Then you're going to go down to the river. Make sure the river's clean, though. Then you're going to put a little bit of holy water in there. Pray over the water, too. Then after that, you're going to put it on Adrienne's forehead and put the cross. Then you guys are going to sing the corito 7 times.
No hay Dios tan grande como tú. No lo hay. No lo hay.
7 times. Remember, that's the holy number of completion. Then you're going to walk around the hotel room 7 more times. And then after that, make sure that one of you goes across the hall and you do the same type of spiritual prayer with Israel. This will give them a successful start to their marriage. You're going to need to do all that and more. Add some incense to it to cleanse the spirits that are within this marriage, y'all. Cleanse them from coming and reappearing. All right, let's continue.
These people would not be the people that just pray a little bit. These people will point their weapon. These people will tell the devil, if you don't shut up, I'm going to get my weapon. Because the weapons of my warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down.
And like kind and they're good to people. And if I could be half of the wife that those women are,
I will be so blessed. Literally, like, everybody in that circle has known me from the day I was born. Can you believe it, guys? I'm the baby of the family. That was so emotional, blessing, and awesome. I decided to write love letters to Israel, 11 of them.
And so I've been given a letter at different times. She gave me one when we landed.
I heard that you cried a lot.
I did cry quite a bit.
He bought me a typewriter back in the day, and also bought me a typewriter paper that says Adrienne Eliza Bailon. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be Adrienne Eliza Bailon anymore. I might as well use up all this paper. 11 love letters. 10 is gonna pretty much say...
So like you would tell me, breathe, take in every moment. This is the beginning of the rest of our lives. You are my first and you will be my only. Today I give you my heart, my soul, everything that I am, the good and the bad. I give you the rest of my life. Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Thank you for being patient. We had a situation of a disappearing veil that we have now located. I know that you have some vows for one another that you wrote personally.
I wish to see my love tonight. I've said it before, yet it bears repeating. You embody what grace actually looks like to me. I wish to be with you forever.
Now, I know this man is not crying as if he hasn't done this before, like I said. This is not your first time, Israel. Get it together.
I'm gonna tell you the craziest story since you loaded that up.
What?
I didn't pray for her the first time. The first time we ever prayed together, she prayed for me.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. I told her, this is what's going on in my life. It's bad. If once the world finds out, my life is over. My career is over. It's where I was at.
Because you're in ministry.
Yes. And my livelihood was attached to whether people thought I was a Christian or not, you know, or a superhuman Christian, by the way, like a super Christian. And I expected her, and what I shared with her was like embarrassing and painful and all that. And I expected her to go, see, all y'all, you know, I expected her to just go, all guys are the same.
To do that.
And she leaned across the table and she grabbed my hand and she just started praying for me. This is when we're still friends. I mean, I sobbed at that little table. And she just basically said, God, please help this man know that he's not what he's done. And I think even that, like anybody listening right now or watching right now, we need to understand, like, again, if I changed anything, it would change everything. I say all the time, Adrienne epitomizes. Can I say epitomizes? Is there a better word? Adrienne is the example of God's grace to me. Like when somebody goes, what does grace look like? I go, looks like my wife, a lot like my wife. Just because she's the real thing. She's consistent. She gives grace to those who don't deserve it. She shows mercy to those who haven't earned it.
Adrienne is a stunning bride, just gorgeous, beautiful woman. I wish that she had replaced this dud of a man with somebody else. She deserved that, but hell, this is what sis wanted. She wanted to be hard-headed, so we gonna celebrate along with her. Yes, sis! I'm so happy for you. Get your man, sis. Let him read them vows and cry like a little baby. He said that you're his saving grace and that you are what grace is personified. And I love this for you, sis, because that's what you wanted, and we're just going to support you. So cheers to you and Mr. Israel Houghton. Let's continue watching this.
Adrienne, I understand that you also have some personal vows that you would like to make to Israel.
When I met you, I truly had no idea how much my life would change years later. But then, how could I have known a love like ours only happens once in a lifetime? Israel, I love loving you. When I fell in love with you, I fell in love with all of you. I fell in love with the great in you, and I fell in love with the bad you see in yourself. But the bad you see is the great that I see in you. Because I love every part of you. And today, I vow to always love you this way. Always.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now present unto you Mr. and Mrs. Israel Houghton.
And oh my God! Would you not fall in love? Would you not?
To your destiny. Now quit losing sleep over what God ordained. He may not have sent it, but He controls the universe. That opposition is going to be what God uses to birth you into a new level in the anointing.
Adrienne Bailon's husband's child support case takes an unexpected turn. Good news for the singer. Is it? Let's see. After being sued back in June by the Texas State Attorney General's Child Support Division for alleged child support issues, the gospel singer is now without worry as the case has been thrown out. The case was filed to determine how much child support he would be required to pay for 2 children he was said to have fathered outside of his marriage to his ex-wife Melissa Houghton. The 2 children's mother, Devon Moreno, reportedly explained to Boss-Up exactly why the case was dismissed. The suit was dropped because of misleading information, she said in an email. Our children are well taken care of, as it always has been. The site reports that reps for the state's highest law enforcement office appeared in Harris County Family Court on December 6th for the hearing. It was then that they requested that the judge list the case as non-suited, meaning they no longer sought to move forward with the case. Houghton did not appear for the hearing. Of course he didn't. He's a coward. He likes to run away and avoid. That's what he does. Houghton's lawyers also alleged that their client already supports the kids financially and was never even served with a lawsuit to begin with.
Well, thank God for the internet these days. Things get confusing and you get to clarify. Like me, when I first started dating my husband, people thought he was married. No, this is...
Someone told me yesterday in my DMs that was the case. So yes, they still
and
think.
that was a lie. So this is the thing. If you're being real, like you want to talk to the man and you're like, yo, you got me out here looking crazy. Like, let me see the paperwork. Crazy thing is, him and his ex-wife actually filed under their initials and not under their names. So when Page 6 and a lot of these other news outlets went to go look for divorce documents, they couldn't find them because they were under their initials for their privacy. But it was true.
You're still stupid. Red flag. Adrienne, you're foolish. This man had 2 side babies. And you sitting here caping for him, Miss Rescue Ranger. This is what you're doing right now. You should have just kept your mouth shut. Why are you defending him? Oh, he filed for divorce under the initials. Even if he did, he's still a cheater. And he's still a liar and a deceiver. Why are you defending him, Miss Scorpio? Why? The reason I'm going so hard on Adrienne in part 3 is because after Lenny, she should have known better. Lenny had her outside like a damn dog. Wouldn't even give her the key to his apartment until she begged him for it. She knows what it's like to be cheated on, y'all. And she was a cheater too. I mean, hell.
But that's so weird. I never would have. That's how I know moments like that are God. Because that's not my natural instinct. So to really believe that and know that, and I've preached that on the reel, and to be that person and then marry someone who has been that.
Let me tell you something. I completely agree with you guys. Now, I disagree with what this is saying in the sense that, like, you should cheat to make your relationship better.
Right. No.
I think what you just said is what you do. You actually should come sit with them and be like, look, I'm having feelings that are making me want to cheat on you. I'm letting you know right now, I have a wandering eye. I have wandering thoughts.
Let him know.
So I'm letting you know right now, something's about to go down if you don't fix this.
Yeah,
and that. But if a man came to a woman and said, look, I'm not happy, I'm having a wandering eye, you think that girl's gonna say, bye? No, that woman is, most women are gonna be like,
what can I do?
What can I do to serve? You know, how can I satisfy you? What do I need to work on? They'll actually go home and cry and call their girlfriends and be like, he said he don't want me.
That's why you keep you one on the side. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Didn't make sense to me at all in my logical mind. But in that moment, I don't know. That's how I know it was God. Because in that moment, I literally reached over and was like, praying for him, and I held him, and I was just like, I love you. Like, you don't have to be that. Like, that's not, it's just so wild. Like, I just was like, I love you. I love you flawed. I get that you're so honest and transparent with me right now in this moment, and I get that, but I still love you. And if we can't be the grace of God that we what I want from God is grace. I ask for grace every morning. I want that mercy and that grace. I pray that I can be that for, if anything, the person I married.
You know, it gets a little interesting now with these.
Yes. All right, first up. Have you ever heard the phrase, once a cheater, always a cheater? Yes, we've heard of that. Well, according to some scientists, it's true. The journal Nature Neuroscience recently published a study that said infidelity desensitizes the brain from the negative emotions linked to lying. Therefore, even if a cheater feels guilty about lying the first time, they are less likely to experience the same level of regret the next time around.
I think that's true.
So, ladies, do you think if a cheater strays once, they'll stray again?
Yes, but I'm gonna tell you it depends on the circumstance, and this is why I think this.
Y'all already know what's coming. Brace yourselves for the mental gymnastics and the word salad that she's about to present to you. Word salad. Garbage. This is what we're about to listen to, so get your ears ready. Clean them out if you need to.
Okay, I think that the first time I think the first time that you cheat on someone, it does become easier to lie to them because you do desensitize that thing that says this is wrong. But if you're in a new relationship and you do it again, I think it's different. So let me explain. I think it's a lot easier to cheat on someone you've already cheated on. But I believe that if you start in a new relationship, you are less likely to cheat in that new relationship, especially if you make a decision to want to change.
Red flag. Okay, Adrienne, let's believe what you believe because, again, you're in an alternate universe. So your metaverse is not the same as my metaverse because I live in reality. I don't live in delusion. You're telling me that as long as a man who cheated didn't cheat on you but cheated on the person prior, then it's okay. Is that what you're telling us, sis? Let's hear more because she must have a better explanation for what she's trying to sell us here.
Yeah, and that you want to do the right thing. That's not to say, I personally believe that God is a God of second chances. We've all done wrong in our life. That's like saying I was a cheater in my first relationship when I was 19 years old. Does that mean I'm going to cheat today? I'm not even the same person I was then. I'm not even the same person I was last year. We're always changing, always growing.
So you're saying you do agree with it or you don't? She does not agree with this.
I think it's less likely. I think that when you want to change and you want to do right, you do right.
But that's the reason why.
Forget what the scientist is saying. When you want to do right by somebody, Lonnie, don't front. But you will do the right thing.
Of course, religion is bought into it. So yes, we have to just forgive and forget. That's what the mandate is, right? Okay, and then another thing is we cannot believe science. And of course, once you use religion, science goes out the window because I don't know why people think you can't use both, but you got to use one or the other. So now Adrienne is saying just go with the spiritual realm and don't believe the logical realm, even though God gave you that brain for a reason and it's to think. But then again, you've convinced yourself of your theory. So therefore, this is why you're saying don't pay attention to science and pay attention to God. Okay, let's continue.
Well, I think that's why they say if a person cheats on you and you don't like it, to let them go.
Yes.
And that kind of teaches them a lesson.
Yes.
You go try to find something new. They try to go find
something about it.
But the point is, if they cheat again with a new person, it's like what this study is saying is that it's something in our brain that desensitizes you. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're a lot less likely to hit somebody you've never hit before. I'm not trying to be funny. If this is terrible examples. I don't know because I'm not a mother. Right. But I think that the first time you spank your child, that has to be the most heartbreaking thing in the world. My mom seemed okay with it about the 5th time. I'm just saying. She was like, I've spanked her before. She'll get over it. And I'm not being funny, but when you cheat on somebody, and I'm going to be super honest right now because I've been there and I've done that.
Go ahead.
When you cheat on somebody and they don't even react, or you can get away with it, it's easier to do it. I was in a relationship where I know the person knew I was cheating on them and they didn't do anything about it, which did 2 things. 1, it made it easier to do. And 2, it made me wonder, then why are you even with me?
Right.
Are you with me for the right reasons? You let me do what I'm doing, so why are you even with me?
So this is the only part that I disagree, only from my experiences. Yeah. Everybody who's been cheated on, or it was in the relationship where you see the cheating happen, you experience it differently. So I don't agree with this statement because I believe that you are not your past and you have the power to change whatever it is you decide wants to be different. However, I noticed that when you're describing this, and I hear this a lot with my friends who've gone through cheating or were cheaters, they describe the reaction to them or why the relationship went a certain way that made them cheat. And when I was in my parents' relationship, I saw cheating take place. And for me, I realized that cheating in it of itself is a selfish move.
Yes.
You do it because you're not happy, so you don't deal with it maturely. You feel like you're not getting something in the relationship, so you don't go to counseling or sex therapy. You decide to go get something yourself. It's selfish.
It is very,
at
very
the end of-
cowardly.
Yes. So at the end of the day, you are cheating because it's something that you're doing to fulfill yourself. And that is why, to me, cheating it has more to do with having bad priorities than it does to have bad character. You can change your priorities, come straight, and prioritize what matters to make the cheating right.
I don't know.
I want to know.
Because men just tend to do it. I mean, it's a lot of guys out here, they just do it because they like a variety. And it's like, you could be the best. I know the best example I can get. No, see, I keep using these bad
examples. Now, where are you gonna go next?
Because I want to say about like look at Beyonce. Beyonce, you
don't get no better
and
than
I'm not
that.
saying exactly. I'm saying she seems like a really good person. She's talented. She had babies, and she still got cheated on.
Lonnie says that was a terrible example, and the reason why is because she's married to Jay-Z. Why are we acting like Jay-Z was ever a catch? This man was never the type of man that you would want your daughter to marry. I'm sorry. He just wasn't. All Jay-Z did was a rebrand, and he used Beyonce to do it. Let's keep it real. Jay-Z was sleeping with so many women that a lot of them have come out with paternity suits, and he keeps dismissing them. There's a reason. If anything, him and Israel have a lot in common because they both were able to be with women who are way out of their league.
Now, will he cheat again? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, what was missing from that relationship? It was just him. It's just he wanted.
We'll never know, but I think that there's
he was
something
selfish
so much deeper
to not fix whatever it was with him.
For
He
sure.
instead went to go do something else, and we don't know. We don't want to judge the relationship.
Right.
But he didn't.
Well, that's
fix
what I
what
keep
was,
saying. I keep coming up with these examples. It's just bad today.
That's why I try to only use what I know. And when my life changed was what'd you do? When my life changed was when I got cheated on later on in life in my relationship. Guys, that was when I tell you there's no other way to describe it than Oprah, an aha moment. Like the light bulb went off and I said, oh my God, because ignorance is bliss. And let me explain. I didn't know what that felt like for someone to do that to me. So I thought what he didn't know doesn't hurt him. And this is, guys, I was a teenager then, but when I got cheated on in my 20s, it was like a life shot. Like I did everything that you say. What was wrong with me? What was I missing?
Right.
What did I do wrong? Like, is it me? I'm not pretty enough. My butt isn't big enough. My boobs are like, you go through all of these things. And I always swore to myself I would never, ever, ever make anybody else feel the way I felt.
This segment of The Real was filmed while Sis was married. This is why she had a change of heart about how she felt about cheaters.
What I will say is this that I think is a little upsetting is how we always put the blame on the woman. And I saw some comments and I was like,
what were they saying?
They just not nice. They were calling it karma.
Let's put it out there because they're saying it's karma because some people feel like his first baby mama was pregnant and then Chloe and him started dating.
Red flag. Hold the line. This is about Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. I have a feeling that Adrienne is going to be keeping for her sister and side chick Chloe.
We know that for sure. That's what happened.
Supposedly. We don't know.
She was pregnant.
Okay, so I have a question for you. For y'all saying yes. Whose karma is it? It's hers or Tristan should pay the karma? Why is it always both? Okay, then both maybe, if that's how you feel.
Oh, silly me, I forgot. Chloe is her fellow water sign sister. Cancer and Scorpio stick together in perpetual delusion. Red flag. First of all, Adrienne, shut your mouth. You have no logical thought process in your brain. You need to stop operating in your amygdala. You need to start thinking with the frontal cortex of your brain. That's the logical part. How can you sit there and tell us and try to gaslight the audience? I'm so happy they gathered you behind right up. Chloe was a side chick. And yes, the karma is for the both of them. And karma sure did come knocking at her door. And sis went through it with Tristan worse than the first one. We're gonna save that story for Khloe Kardashian's case study, but best believe the retribution was real and it never misses. So save it, Adrienne. If you want to live in your delusion, go ahead and do it, but don't do it at the expense of others. Because I know there's some dodo bird brain person who's going to listen to you and be like, yeah, she wasn't a side chick. And if you're that dodo brain person, wake up.
Sorry. No,
Wait,
that's
sorry,
so
but
wrong.
I don't know the story.
The man gets off?
I don't know the story, but I'm just saying the Bible even says you reap what you sow. You plant some funky
100%.
seeds, you're gonna get some funky trees.
100%. But why is it only the woman is reaping?
Of course, it shouldn't be only the woman. It should be both.
I think this is why, at the end of the day, you have to watch who you have babies with and who you lay down with. It's as simple as that. I told it, I done said this before, I'm gonna say it one more time. Babies do not change men, and it don't keep a man. So understand that.
Most men believe that emotional cheating isn't really cheating because they're not actually having sex with another partner. Now, many women feel like emotional cheating is just as bad, if not worse, than physical cheating. So ladies, do you think men are so quick to dismiss emotional cheating? Because when I read this, I actually don't agree. I think there are a lot of stand-up men out there who want to be there for you, who want to be your comfort and your aid and your security and your protection. And if you're going somewhere else, they're going to feel a certain type of way. And those are the real men out there.
100%.
Absolutely.
But I think they say this because it allows them to get away with it.
Oh, for themselves.
It allows them to get away with it for themselves. But I will say this. Obviously, men tend to take the physical part a little bit more lackadaisical for themselves. But the moment that a man is emotionally cheating, meaning that he's talking to this person, he's spending time with them, that's a problem. I'm telling you from personal experience, I have guy friends that have cheated on their girls a bunch of times with a bunch of women, never thought a thing about it.
Red flag. See, nothing has changed, guys. This segment was filmed in 2018, 2 years after she married her husband, Israel. She said she has a lot of guy friends who have cheated multiple times. Why are they still your friends, sis? Can you let us know? Somehow, she always finds herself around men who have cheated. Doesn't that make you suspicious?
And then met someone that they actually had an emotional connection with, and that made them change their entire lives.
I think it's dangerous because in the beginning they just think, oh, it's just emotional, but the reality is worse. It's worse because you start out being emotional, and that could only lead to physical.
I'm understand. What is the emotional part? Is it that they're sharing something? Explain it to me.
Talking on the phone for hours, talking about the things that you feel you can't speak to your woman or your wife about.
It's a connecting on a deeper level,
on an emotional level,
right? When you get those butterflies in your stomach when you're talking to somebody, or when
which long term just makes the sex so bomb.
Yes, but
that's how women get connected first.
I always say,
honest, that's how women get connected first.
With women,
emotionally.
Men, just letting you know, PSA, you're gonna make love to our minds, but before you make love to our bodies.
Yep.
So let me tell you, what is emotional? You ever had a guy friend that you're mad close with, and see, this is difficult. Okay, a man that you're mad close with that actually talks to you about stuff, like talks to you about what's going on in his job. You stay on the phone for hours. You know, if they're traveling, you're the one that they call.
Yeah, but I mean, I got a friend like that, Willis. But I don't want to be with Willis. I do not want to be with Willis.
Have you already tried being with Willis?
No.
That's why you don't
Willis want to be with you?
No.
How do you know?
No.
How do you know?
Because he said that people said, "Oh, have you and Lonnie?" And we're like, "No, we're not
but does
like
Willis
that."
have a significant other?
Yes, he does.
Oh,
yes, he does.
Glad we clarified that.
He does.
Does Willis's significant other mind that Willis is coming to you?
She ain't got no choice.
Like, but what do you mean?
I was first in the relationship, and we are friends, and that's how it's going to be. That's it. It ain't no funny stuff. It ain't no funny stuff. I'm saying for me.
Okay.
For me, that's my relationship.
But Lonnie, that is emotional cheating.
It's not emotional cheating.
Lonnie,
I don't know what he's telling her.
I know.
That ain't my business.
Does he tell you things about her?
between them two.
But you
Does
guys
he
get
tell
what
you things about her? Does he talk to you about his problems? Does he tell you things that he doesn't tell her?
His wife.
I don't know that because I don't ask him about that. All I know is I got a relationship with him. We are best friends. We travel together. He opens for me. We have a really good relationship, and that's just what we are.
You know
But
it'll
they
never
don't
go
down
Lonnie.
in the D.
Wait, no.
It's no fun
Lonnie,
stuff.
Was that to the beat of
Lonnie.
It's So Cold in the D?
You know for a fact, for you, there's no romantic feelings.
Right.
And what about him,
None.
though? Do you know that for a
It's
fact?
none.
You know for a fact.
I can guarantee you, Willis. We gonna bring Willis and his girlfriend Tamiko on the air.
Okay.
So, because I love them both, but I was there first. And the thing is, I've been his friend, and I think we just have an issue. It depends on the person. I see what y'all talking about, but if it's like if you one of them type of chicks, you trying to get them. You know what I'm saying? Then you like, okay, let me get in.
Or
that
an
way.
ex. Yes,
Or
but here's the problem.
ex.
Here's the problem. Even if you aren't interested in Willis in that romantic way, and even if he's not
He's
trying
not
to get at you,
interested in me.
and even
That's
if he's
what
not
she
there, who gets left slighted is her on the side, because Willis should be coming to her for all those things that he can talk to you
But
about.
I don't know what they're talking about. You see what I'm saying? It's
Do you
just
think
like
he's reiterating what he talks to her about? Then
I
to you
don't
to
know
get,
that.
To get another
and
side?
I don't care about that because
Okay.
that's not my I ain't in their business like you and Adam. I ain't in y'all business like that.
That's true.
What's between y'all? It's between y'all. What's between me and my friend, and then she comes out with us too. It doesn't matter.
Let's look at the definition of emotional cheating, because it seems like everyone was just confused. Emotional cheating is when a person in a committed relationship forms a deep emotional connection with someone outside the relationship, crossing established boundaries and often involving secrecy and a decline in commitment to their partner. Lonnie and Willis's friendship does not constitute as emotional cheating. Emotional cheating would have to have boundaries and secrecy, and it doesn't look like they have that. It looks like his wife is perfectly fine with the friendship they have. There's a difference. Now, my issue with this whole segment is why were they ignoring the elephant in the room, which is Adrienne? Red flag. She's the one that y'all should be focused on. Lonnie has never been a side chick, but you have, Adrienne, allegedly. So why aren't these questions being asked of the right party? This is a problem. But anyways, I digress. We already see how Adrienne felt about it. And notice how she was really quiet. Of course she was, because that's what she does. She befriends men and then becomes their emotional anchor so that she can become the new woman in their life. That's what she does. That's her pattern, y'all. Now, let's speed this right up and fast forward to 2017. BET published an article titled, Adrienne Bailon's husband, Bailon-Houghton, nearly lost his family home. The singer has been dealing with some financial trauma. The Real co-host Adrienne Bailon's new husband, Bailon-Houghton, was very close to losing his former family home to foreclosure. According to court records, the gospel singer missed 11 payments and owed a whopping $90,000 on the Texas mansion, but he may have caught a huge break in the matter. Red flag. So not only do you not pay your child support payments, we also find out that you do not make your mortgage payments, Israel. You're very irresponsible. Irresponsible with his sperm and with his money. According to Bossip had all the tea for some reason. The gospel singer will no longer have to worry about the dreaded F word, as he found a buyer for the pricey home. In fact, the site reports that based on public records, the home's proposed sale price will relieve Houghton's nearly $90,000 debt on the expensive property. This all dates back to early 2017 when Deutsche Bank sued both Houghton and his ex Melissa to foreclose the home, which once stood as their family residence in Harris County, Texas. Their grounds to sue was simply that the musician had not paid the mortgage in months. So let me get this straight. You got a new wife now, and you feel like you no longer are responsible to pay your former debts. Is that what I'm understanding? You like to run away and avoid responsibility where you see fit, because now you have a new life and a new wife. They added that despite the bank notifying him on several occasions regarding the missed payments, he still managed to miss the deadline, resulting in the bank asking for the family to clear the premises immediately. Red flag. Who was still living in the home? You had kids in the home and you couldn't even pay your mortgage. This man is showing his true colors time and time again, and yet Adrienne is still trying to sell us this love story of hers. What about this man is so redeeming? Based on the bank's records, he owed a whopping $89,111.54 from the 11 times he was scheduled to pay but never did. Court documents also state that he would have to pay the total amount he owes on the entire mortgage, $608,654.17, in order to fix the foreclosure. Things seemed to take a turn in Houghton's favor last month. However, when the bank filed paperwork to non-suit him and his ex, making them no longer responsible in the suit or for the mortgage debt altogether. Due to the pending sale of the home, the bank is likely to get its money back.
Here we go.
I think that we're definitely more of a modern, progressive couple in a lot of ways. Obviously, we have a blended family. That's one way.
We're both professionals.
Both professionals. Although I believe that there are a lot of things about us that are very traditional, I would say I don't like to put us in a box. So I have this theory about marriage. I've been thinking about these things a lot lately. I read this amazing article. Actually, it was by Vanessa Williams in Glamour magazine, where she talked about her 3 marriages and what she learned from being married 3 times. And I just found it fascinating. One of the things was expectations and how you think something is supposed to be is actually what ruins us the most in life. This is supposed to be this way. And then when it isn't that way, you're like, then it's ruined. I think there's something really beautiful to surrendering to your marriage, because it's not always going to be the way you planned it to be. And there's nothing like just surrendering to the journey and loving every moment of it, as opposed to like, it was supposed to be this way. Like I was supposed to marry a man that had never been married before, had never had children before, and that can ruin you the most in life.
I love that.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't like to put us in a box where it's like, we're traditional. And then the day that we're not doing something traditional, it's like, well, that's not how it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be in charge, or I'm supposed to be in charge. No, some days he's in charge. Some days I'm in charge. And that's okay. The manager, business savvy person that handles business 100% is Israel with Lana.
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain that.
And with Nilda.
I am actually, and my mom, I don't enjoy discussing money. I hate it. No, I hate discussing money. I hate discussing the business side of things. I'm a very creative person, so I can come up with the concepts. Israel actually negotiates a lot of my deals along with Lana. So you handle a lot of my business, which I don't think people know.
I actually love that too.
Yeah.
Of course you would. We already know about your financial troubles. Now, Adrienne, sis, this is not a good idea. You need to know how to handle your finances, and do not have your husband touching it. He is not a steward that I would trust with anything at this point. You should be the manager of your funds. You need to know every single penny that's going in and out of them accounts, because based on this man's financial track record, I wouldn't even trust him with $10. Red flag. Don't trust him with nothing, sis. Nothing at all.
So you handle a lot of my business, which I don't think people know.
I actually love that too.
Yeah.
Because we're both very creative.
Yeah.
And if I ever have to discuss business for my behalf, it doesn't go as well. If I'm discussing business for you, it goes really well.
Yeah.
Red flags. You can't even handle your own affairs. How can you handle hers, Israel? Doesn't make sense. Shouldn't you be good with your own first before you offer help to other people? This is all types of backwards. Oh my goodness, sis. Wake up. What he said makes no type of sense, but look at you nodding like, yes. You gonna let him lead you? You know what? I've warned you enough. Some people are just hard-headed. Sis, you know what? Just keep doing what you're doing. Yes. You know what, Israel? Keep handling her finances. Yes, Lord. You done found a man who could lead the household and lead your finances, even though he couldn't lead anything in his past marriage, couldn't lead anything with his baby mamas, couldn't lead anything with himself, but yet with you, you think he's going to do it. Okay, sis, we're on this delusional train with you. I'm trying to finish this case study right now, Adrienne. You are getting on my last nerve. I've had enough. Let's just speed right along through with this, y'all, and wrap this right up. Pack these two up. pack them to go. Get out of here.
I'll get on calls for him and I'll fight for him and I'll be like, absolutely not. He needs this. He needs
Like marketing and
those kinds of things. Yeah, for sure.
Because I actually don't like talking about that kind of stuff.
You don't care about marketing, branding.
If I never had to be on social media, I wouldn't.
No, so
she helps that. I feel like I'm answering your question this way. Our roles tend to strengthen each other's. I don't want to say weaknesses, but
my weakness is definitely like, I should never say this out loud, but I am putting it on YouTube. I would work for free because I actually genuinely love what I do for a living.
The views expressed by Adrienne Houghton on this program do not necessarily represent the views of her marriage. She's not going to work.
My husband will be like, absolutely hell no, you need to get your money.
That's not going to happen.
We both, if we're honest, can struggle on spending because we like to show our families a great time. Yeah. I like to show my family a great time. He likes to buy clothing.
Oh, come on.
Let's be honest. This is an honest
But we
channel.
both have this in common. We love creating memories and experiences.
He likes to have really great outfits
But I do like looking
for the experience. Yeah. My husband loves to shop. Me and Lana will look over my expenses and we'll be like, what the hell is Israel ordering on Amazon?
This shopping addiction of his, that tracks with the Psychology Today article that we read about unhealthy coping mechanisms.
I believe in marrying for love, and I feel like if anybody knows me, they know my favorite song is Danny's song. And even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with Johnny. Like, I wanted to find somebody that I would marry and be broke with and still be happy. Like that to me is goals. But for somebody else.
You say that, but you didn't marry somebody who has financial strife or is making you struggle in any financial way. I'm just saying that, like, it's hard to say that while you're in a comfortable situation because he's independent with finances and so are you. I actually agree now that I heard you deeper. I actually super agree with what you said because you're right. When you marry just for love, marriage cannot just be based on love. No. Love will not carry you out. You need to be able to have sustainability. You need to have purpose. You need to have vision. You need to have a backdrop of something so that both y'all can buy a house. Maybe if you're living in LA, you already know what that is. So you're absolutely right.
Well,
No, because you know what?
You
have to
prioritize
what's important to you.
Even specifically in my case, while that's nice to have financial stability, I don't have financial stability in him. Does that make sense?
That's what I'm saying. You take care of yourself.
I take care of me.
You take care of yourself.
Care of him.
Yes.
And if that's the case, then you can marry for love because y'all only got to worry about money.
That's correct.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
Jeannie, sis, Adrienne did marry for love. I can guarantee you that much. Because ain't no way she married Israel with all them financial issues he has and also the back child support. Do not let his net worth fool you. He is not good with money. Y'all just heard about his Amazon spending sprees. I honestly believe that Adrienne is paying her own way. I also believe as fast as Israel is making money, he is spending it just as fast. Sis is funding her own way. Best believe it. And another thing I must say is Adrienne does not have a backbone. She is still a people pleaser.
I didn't realize, and I'm saying this because this is the real, when I first got married, I said things like, we are going to have sex every single day and it's always going to be this thing. And
you sure did.
I absolutely did. And just this morning, I had all of these expectations of what I thought I would be as a wife, what I thought my relationship would be as a marriage. And I think it's so important that when you like somebody, not just love and it's not just in love, but I actually like you. I like my husband. So I feel that because we like each other, we can get through things in life, ups and downs, in and out love cycles like we've had conversations about all the time. With that being said, I felt like I started realizing that I was putting possibly sleep in front of the idea of sex.
I am so proud of you.
Okay.
This is good.
Okay. No, this is the thing. No, it wasn't major for you. This is major. I wasn't not having sex. I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
I was wearing myself out, people.
How much? Like, how long did it take?
I think we've been married for 3 years. We've been married for 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
No, so listen to this. So this morning I had a guy, such an intimate conversation and such an honest conversation with my husband that shows me that the like is so real. Because I said, babe, it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
I have to be at work at 4:30. And I said, I feel like I'm letting you down as a wife. Because I set myself up to this place to say, I want us to always be lovers. I want us to always be this thing. I never want to be that whack wife that's like, I'm tired. Don't tap me on the shoulder.
Red flag. On behalf of the Whack Wives Committee, I am very offended. I'm going to let y'all know something real quick, because let me school y'all on something. Adrienne had to learn the hard way. She's very hard-headed and stubborn. It took her 3 years to get this lesson, and I hope you guys learn faster. A whack wife like me has never lost sleep. I am not going to sacrifice sleep for my husband's pleasure. That is never going to happen in this lifetime or the next. And I'm positive that other whack wives out there, they feel me on this. You know why? We have something called boundaries, sis. When you're with someone who is sexually disciplined, they understand that there's a time and a place. Y'all want to know why I don't lose sleep? Because my husband is considerate of my feelings. See, your husband, he's inconsiderate, knowing that you had to wake up in the morning and he's still asking you to have sex. Israel has a lack of discipline. I done told y'all that this whole case study. And sis is now finding out that being a wife is different from being a side chick, allegedly. We cannot have sex on demand like that. Some of us need sleep. Okay? And if you want to lose sleep for your man, then go on right ahead and be like an Adrienne. Lose years of your life. If his lust is insatiable, it won't matter whether you give it up to him on demand or not.
Yeah. I never wanted to, but I said, but baby, I'm tired, right? And he was like, I want you to know that I like you. I'm not just in love with you. I like you. So it's not just about that, like you guys have been telling me all along, that it's not just about that. And that reassurance made me turn over, and then we had sex. And it was phenomenal.
Now, if that wasn't enough, sis was still in her Inspector Gadget mode.
This is it right here. We are the greatest detectives of all time. My husband literally calls my woman's intuition my vaginal spidey senses. I swear to you guys, I can tell if something bad is gonna happen. I'll be waking up, I'm like, I just feel it. If I meet somebody, I'll tell my husband, watch out for this person, watch out. And it always turns out exactly like I said. So women, we got something special with us, and we need to actually tap into those spidey senses, okay? Tap into it, because it can be very helpful.
I just feel like what's done in the dark will come out in the reflection of your sunglasses.
You know
Because
what?
I got a story, but we only got 1 minute and 30 left.
No, go on and say it, Much.
Go for it.
This is a crazy story, and I didn't think about it until just right now, but I was dating this guy, and I was going out of town, but we had this package of condoms, and I know this sounds crazy, but right before I left, I sat down, and they were like colorful and all. We didn't really use them. It was just like what is that called? Just a bag of condoms, whatever. Anyway, it's like a backup plan. And guys, I took Post-its and I wrote down every how many there were in total and every color. Like, okay, there's 3 green, there's 2 blue, there's, whatever, this tuxedo one. What? And I wrote them all down, right?
Why?
I'm not lying to you.
Why did you do that?
I came because I suspected something was up, but I didn't know for sure. And then I went on the trip, and when I came back, I lied to you not, Garcelle, the way my vaginal spidey senses are set up. I had a roller, the Louis Vuitton roller bag. You guys remember that? I opened the door to the apartment. When I tell you I dropped that Louis roller so back, and I ran to where the condoms were. They were under the sink in the bathroom. And so I opened those doors, and I go in there, and I took it out, and I start counting. 1, 2, it was 23 total. Baby, when I came back from that trip, there was only 21. There was a tuxedo and a red one missing. I was like, I raised all kinds of hell. And that's how I knew he was cheating on me.
I think we can all agree that being jealous is never a good look, but sometimes that sneaky little feeling can creep up on you when you least expect it. For example, there's a user online asking for advice because he gets jealous when other men make his girlfriend laugh. God. Well, people are coming for him in the comments, calling him insecure. That made me wonder, are there some things that you can't help but feel jealous about?
Adrienne.
Why y'all staring at me?
What do you get jealous about?
Okay, recently, this is such a random thing to get jealous about, but my husband
was working and producing music for someone, and the person told my husband that they had a crush on me. It was a girl.
Oh.
A girl told my husband, I have a girl crush on your wife. I think she's really hot and sexy, but like something to that effect, but like don't tell her. And he wrote back to her like, well, I tell my wife everything. So she's standing right here and she knows. And the girl put those, the monkey with the hands over the eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's inappropriate.
Red flag. So you already know what's inappropriate and what's appropriate, yet you were slumming around and being friends with a married man, so much so that your family hung out with him without you there. And he was still married to his wife. I mean, you said he wasn't, but we're still going to say that they were still together. And that wasn't inappropriate, Adrienne.
Why is that inappropriate?
Don't try me. Put in the comments below on Instagram. You know she trying me. You don't think that's trying?
You know what she was trying to do.
I know exactly what she was like. Oh my God,
a trouble.
Is so hot. She's gorgeous. Like, she's
that's what she was.
My girl crush.
You know what she was trying. You know what she was
to a
trying.
married man that you're interested in his wife.
Because you know why.
I know why, and that's why I had a problem with it.
Because you've done it before. Red flag. You know all the tricks because you done did it, Adrienne. The jig is up. Just admit it. You see, if she could be real with herself, then things would be different. Now that she's a wife, she's on a whole new moral compass. No side chicks allowed, even though she was a side chick. Allegedly. But now you got a ring on your finger. You acting brand new. Oh yeah, I don't know about those women. Those women, how dare they talk to my husband? But you didn't have any problem talking to other people's husbands and texting them and having them sob on your shoulder.
No, do not do that. Do not try my husband, and don't try making my husband have these kinds of thoughts. Like, why would you even, like, I would never, like, I am literally smack in the middle of major renovation in my house in New York, but I will say those have been going smoothly. Everything is going really well with that. But when I lived here in LA and I had just bought my house in Calabasas, Israel and I lived in an HOA, which, exactly, you already know. And the first thing we did when we moved in was we wanted to change our garage doors, and we wanted to change the gates, and we decided that we wanted to do this beautiful fire pit that was going to be up on like a hill in the back of our property.
No, I remember that.
That was HOA.
Guys, we full on had to go and do like a virtual court hearing because we were fined because we didn't ask permission. And Israel, of course, was like, it's better to just do it and ask for forgiveness. No, not in an HOA, which is why I don't live there anymore.
Red flag. So it looks like Israel likes to lie first and then ask for forgiveness after. Is that what I'm understanding? This is how his brain is wired.
When I initially started dating Israel, I feel like because we had been friends for so long that by the time we actually started dating, this sounds really weird, but I almost acted as if I didn't know him. So I like started doing research on my, like, you know, when you know somebody as a friend, you don't care about them in that way. You don't think, oh, no. Like when we started dating, I pretty much would stalk him online. Like I wanted to hear every song he had ever made. Wow. I had to watch every preaching he had ever preached. And then like I'd find us in conversation later on and like be quoting things that he said. And he'd be like, how do you, and I'd be, oh no, you know, just get the yes out of the way. He did a whole preaching about that. And I literally would find myself in these moments that were so tragically like, are you stalking? Are you watching my preachings online? And I would be like, yes, I am. But like at some point I had to confess to him that when I miss him so that I wouldn't be needy or clingy, that would be what I would do. Like I'd go like just watch YouTube, like his stuff on YouTube, live performances. Hi, my name is Adrienne, and I used to stalk Israel Houghton. Okay. I've been doing this for years. What? What do you mean? So there's something called voice memo on your phone. Yeah. And you literally can put it on voice memo, lock the phone, put it down, walk out the room, let y'all talk about me, walk back in, play it back outside the room, listen to what y'all said, walk in and be like, so Tam, would you ever say that, like, sometimes I can talk a lot? Like, would you ever say that? And then you might be like, of course I would say that. You do talk a lot, right?
Yeah. Red flag. This shouldn't surprise any of us. If you watched part 1, she did the same thing to Notori. Remember the chicken fight where they were throwing greasy fried chicken at Notori? Y'all remember that?
Or you could lie to me and be like, I would never say that about you, Adrienne. And then I'd be like, bitch, you lie. And then there it is. Like, wham, I have the evidence.
You've done this on people?
Okay, not gonna lie, I actually did this in my early days of dating Israel.
Yeah.
I did this in the car. I left my phone on voice memo, put it into the side thing of the car, walked out, went into a store. I was like, let me see what phone calls he makes.
Red flag, sis, you're doing too much. Why? See, this is what I don't understand, Adrienne. When are you gonna stop being Inspector Gadget? Why do you have to do all of these tricks? Why do you have to check people's condoms, eavesdrop? You always in the mix somewhere. You're too preoccupied with catching people. You know what? You're in the wrong field. You need to be a private investigator. You'd be really good at it. Because why do you need to do this? Oh, I forgot. You done got with a cheater. Red flag.
Let me see if he talks to anybody on the phone, because I mean, a lot of people...
When you're just dating and you're getting that serious,
yeah,
you
you're
kinda
just
wanna
getting
be
to
sure.
know each
Yeah,
other.
yeah. Interesting.
So I would want to know. Came back, listened. He was writing a worship song in the dance. He was like, Lord, I love you. Jesus, oh, hallelujah. And I was like, oh, there's nothing here.
Did you ever tell him?
Yeah, of course I did. Okay. I was like, that was a cute song you were singing.
You know what the funny thing is? He probably knew you was doing that, sis, because he's just as psychotic as you are. You guys are birds of a feather, just hoping you know that. I mean, this man was a cheater. You think he doesn't know? Whatever tricks you think you knew, he knows 10 times more. That's how he was able to cover his tracks for that many years. But of course, you didn't think about none of that.
I think that sometimes just taking a day to yourself, go somewhere, go for a long walk and enjoy yourself. Go grab food by yourself. I go to the movies by myself. I like to sit in a bookstore and read by myself. So I used to think that in order for me to have me time, I couldn't be with my husband.
Yeah, no.
So I would go spend the day by myself, leave my house. And it wasn't until this year, actually just a week ago, 2 years into my marriage, that I actually did all the things that I would normally do by myself with my husband.
This cannot be life. This can't be life. I'm exhausted. Exhausted. Red flag. So you gave up your alone time to spend more time with your husband? You not tired yet? Y'all, I'm gonna need to get compensated for my pain and suffering for doing this case study. I don't know which one of y'all recommended Adrienne. I remember we did a whole poll and y'all was like, let's do Adrienne. I don't think you guys understand how much pain and suffering I have experienced listening to this woman right here. I have never seen someone as hard-headed as Adrienne. No one has surpassed his hard-headedness yet. The queen of the hard knocks, that's what she is. And you from New York. Wasn't that Jay-Z's song? That's a great fit for you.
I'm really grateful that God orchestrated us to meet when we met, because I probably needed attention. I needed what I guess I had always wanted, which was someone to pour into me and just dote on me and love on me. I needed that at that time. And I also needed time. We spent a lot of time together. Realistically, don't know if someone was still pursuing a career or going after that, if that would have worked. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's honest and realistic.
It's God's timing.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I need to prepare. Okay, ready for the first question?
I am.
Why are you already writing? I didn't even ask the question yet. Okay. Where did we go on our first date? Don't copy me. Damn, I forgot the name of the place. Wait. Where did we go on our first date? I know the answer. Where did you put?
I put the Stinking Rose in Beverly Hills.
That is true. I said the Stinking Rose. It's actually a restaurant here in Beverly Hills.
Yeah. It's a garlic-themed restaurant.
Put down both.
Really? How much did I have on?
Wait. Okay, go. What did you say?
I wrote black dress.
I definitely did not have on a black dress. I had on a sweatsuit from work. And you had on denim on denim.
Of course I had denim on denim. I was wearing my standard uniform.
Exactly. But I definitely... What made you think I had on a black dress?
I don't know.
Because he was thinking about somebody else, sis, not you. Remember, Adrienne? Yeah, remember that?
What kind of first date you think this was? Where was our first kiss? Here we go. I know this one. No. Don't change it. Don't change it. See, you're a cheater. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Put where you put. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So here we will now reveal our answers. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You're supposed to reveal. In Mexico. Word?
Well, I feel like we should define the kiss. Because, like, on your
Are you
balcony.
asking for like tongue, no tongue?
Well, I mean, that's saying a lot right now.
Okay,
For a
this is-
daytime show.
So this is, people can watch this at any time they want, late in the midnight hours on
But
their
there are
computers.
some watching in the daytime.
Comment below if it is daytime or nighttime while you are watching this.
There was
know.
a simple kiss.
Yeah,
very
it was a tap
simple,
kiss. I consider
innocent-
that a kiss. Well, clearly you don't. You said
Well,
Mexico.
in Mexico,
Israel
that was-
only counts it as a kiss if you're like making out. We made out for the first time in Mexico. So it happened actually on our balcony the first time. He used to live downstairs. I was apartment 420. He was apartment 220. I lived on the penthouse floor. At some point, we were sitting on the balcony and I went like this. And then I was like, this. Then I was like, that. That's exactly how, except for your arm wasn't all awkward like this. Can you be normal?
I wasn't holding a thing either.
I'm getting into it, people, okay? This is the reenactment. And I was all like that. With the hair just like.
And I'm not going to lie. For a tap kiss, it was still amazing.
Right? I felt like it was beautiful.
What people need
Do you
to know.
hate me right now because I have lip plumper on?
I'll feel it in a minute. All right, next question, babe.
Okay.
Who said I love you first?
Oh, this is so hard.
We know it was Adrienne. That's why she said this is so hard. She can't even remember who said it first. Red flag. You're always one step ahead, Adrienne. You're not tired of being one step ahead? That's her new name. Adrienne, you not tired by Bailon-Houghton.
Your peripheral vision is next level, and I don't appreciate it. Stop looking! Israel, I see you.
Ma'am, the clock is ticking.
Okay, here we go. And now we will reveal our answers. What'd you say? No freaking way. You're out of your mind.
You did.
I believe Israel. This has sis written all over it.
Remember the moment.
Chicago Airport. I will never forget this. So you were texting me, and you said to me
on a text
message.
I don't think that's what
Israel. You said to me on a text.
I don't think that's what people are concerned
You
about.
asked me a question.
Who is the person that actually said, I love you first?
So, okay, when did I say I love you?
You better get it right, Israel. Because remember, you done had all these side chicks or whatever. Listen, we only know of one. But you probably had many. And now you're trying to keep track of, damn, which woman? What? Because you didn't even get her first day outfit right. So you already lost there. And then you didn't even get the first kiss right. You lost there. And now you're like, yeah. I gotta think about it. Yeah. Remember which woman, Israel?
In Mexico. In the pool. We were singing corritos.
Okay.
But you did say it. And I
did?
And I cherish that moment.
You guys already know that I actually did this when I was younger. I got an ex-boyfriend's name tattooed on my butt. What I will say is...
You did?
Yeah.
Girl.
Yes. What I will say
is it a short name or is it a long name?
It was a 10-letter last name and a whole first name. It was a lot.
Starts with K and ends with N. Stop it right now, Lonnie. Lonnie, stop it right now.
10 letters. I had to count it out right now. Okay, but this is the thing. He also got, now while I had it on my butt and it was somewhere that no one could see, he had it on his chest, my full name as well. And I've since had it laser tattoo removals, which was extremely painful, especially sitting on your bum.
Do they really get rid of it? I always wondered that.
No, this is like amazing. I did it with the Pico Shore laser. Amazing. And it got rid of it completely. Okay. But still, it's like a painful experience when you have to sit on the area they just lasered. It's not that fun.
Love is pain.
What I will say is, I would never get a tattoo of a boyfriend again. I have since gotten a tattoo of my husband's name on me. And this is my thing.
Red flag. You still haven't learned your lesson, Adrienne. This is the second lesson here. You don't get it. You keep doing the same thing over and over again and thinking that it's going to yield a different result. This is the definition of insanity. You are insane. Red flag. Do you guys want to see the pain that she went through to get Rob's tattoo removed off of her? Matter of fact, lasered off of her? Let's get to the footage because I got that, y'all.
I have my ex-boyfriend's name on my butt, on my bottom. Not my favorite tattoo, and that's the one that I definitely want to get removed.
That ex, Rob Kardashian, the couple splitting 5 years ago.
I am excited, anxious, excited more than anything. I think I've waited for a really long time, long enough to have this, officially gone. What I love about the PicoSure laser is that it actually can work on people who already attempted to remove their tattoos and it hasn't worked before. This is definitely the one for them to try. And I love that because I've actually had 2 sessions before this and, I'd come home and see no difference. And it looks like I just got a fresh tattoo. There's no difference at all. So I'm excited today to see, I know it's not going to be completely gone in one session, but that there absolutely will be like a drastic change. Well, for me, I feel like getting the tattoo was painful. And I think living the last 6 years with somebody's name on your body is a little weird. And that's a bit more painful to have to explain that to my kids. People are always like, well, isn't that offensive to like the new man in your life that you have someone else's name on your body? And I love that I have a man that's not selfish. I just feel like that's great to have somebody that not only wants it gone in a selfish way, I don't want to see that, but that he wants it to be done right and that, it won't be something that'll damage my skin and that I'll be scarred for life with.
Next, Dr. Brower carefully traces the entire tattoo with a laser beam, turning the skin white. The doctor predicting Adrienne will need only 5 treatments to erase her mistake.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was so nervous. And I think I've had really painful experiences before doing laser tattoo removal, like literally smelling my flesh burning, like I literally didn't even get to the chorus of the song and he was done. I just heard a verse of a song and he was done. I love the fact that we actually used an ice pack, the numbing cream. The numbing cream totally numbed me for the needles, lidocaine. So this was painless.
That's how you wipe the slate clean.
I am not the kind of person, if I believe that some ink on my wrist is going to cause my marriage to fail, my marriage has a bigger problem than the ink.
Okay.
Like don't marry somebody you think if you got a tattoo with them, it's suddenly going to be drinks, then it's all over. Are you superstitious?
I am.
Okay, see, I'm not. I'm not, but I feel like I could share so much more with somebody than a piece of my skin.
I just feel like
children or
it's branding.
Things were going according to plan for Adrienne and Israel. They were in love. Their families were blended together. Sis just had one more item to check off her list.
Family planning, I thought I had to set it all up. I thought, well, I don't want to miss an entire season of The Real or be home for days or months with my baby. And I was like, okay, I want to have a baby. You guys know I did this. I was like, okay, I want to have a baby. If I can get pregnant between this window, then I can give birth. That's not the way it works. And it didn't work out that way. And now, because you guys have made me feel so uncomfortable and you guys constantly encourage me, you guys are always like, girl, let God have his way. Let him do what it's going to, and it'll happen when it's going to happen. But I think initially I actually stopped myself from working because I think I was so stressed on the idea of, well, if I give birth May 19th, then I can, it was so stressful. And I think sometimes that
you were stressing yourself out, and you stressing yourself out was stressing us out. That's why I was like, stop stressing because you're going to be here no matter what. You know what I mean? You're not going nowhere. Have your baby.
And that was such a great feeling. And, we even took time off. We were like, oh man, it didn't work out the way I thought it was. Guess I'll try next year. Isn't that crazy how we as women put so much pressure on ourselves that it didn't work out for the timeline I thought I wanted, so I actually stopped trying? Isn't that crazy?
I want my little Munchkin Jr. to come, so you keep on. Just do it.
Anyway, but you're a stepmom to 4 children.
Yes.
What's that like?
I love it, and I think that it actually gets me excited for expanding my family and actually becoming a mom myself. We talked about this on our show that I am trying to have a baby. It has not gone as quickly as I thought it would. Everyone told you in your teen years, watch out, you'll do it once and it'll happen. It doesn't work that way at 35. So,
not quite the same.
But we've been enjoying the journey.
I actually came across a thread online that I want you guys to check out where users were listing promises that they've made to themselves. Mine was not to give up on my dream of being a mother. I literally joke with Israel. I'm like, I am either the most resilient human being or I am wildly delusional.
No.
I tell them I'm either one or the other. Because, we get these bad notices and it'll be like, and and it didn't work this time, or, you know, I've done multiple cycles of IVF and so many other things. And I'll be sad for a day. Like, I literally will cry, and Iz will be so worried about me and, like, call my mom and be like, you know, she's okay. And, like, the next day, I know this sounds psychotic. I'll be like, okay, I found 3 new baby names. And he'll be like, you're good? Like, and I don't know why I refuse to let this be the end of my story. I know that it's not, and I love it that I tell myself it's not a question of will I be a mother, it's a question of when. And I promise myself, and I'm sticking to it, that
it will happen.
It will happen.
On August 16th of 2022, Adrienne and Israel welcomed their first child, a son by the name of Everett James Houghton, via surrogate.
My baby boy is finally here, and I get to tell you all about his birth story and the past 5 months living with him. My son was born in Lake Tahoe, and we actually had to get
mine. My son too.
My son. I can't believe I've been able to say that for the last 5 months.
And you say it just like that. My son. I don't know about anybody else's kid.
My son. And it was just the most incredible moment of my whole life.
Thank you, Lord. For me, I actually had a surrogate. So somebody else carried my baby.
I'm not trying to be rude. No, back of my mind, I'm like, when did she have a baby? I'm like, when did she have a baby?
I gotta be honest. I've tried to have a baby for 6 years. Went through every kind of fertility treatment you could imagine. And it took so much time that low key, I think there's half guilt and half like the desire that I wanted to have a baby so bad that I want to do everything myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, people were like, will you have a nanny? Will you have somebody help you? A night nurse? Or I wanted to do everything because I felt like, well, damn, I didn't even carry the baby or push it out. The least I could do is stay up in the midnight hours with the baby. And there was a part of me that felt like guilty that I didn't carry the baby. So I felt like I wanted to
But it wasn't
do
by
everything
choice.
I could. I know.
Mhm.
But
It
I
wasn't by
also,
choice.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That was like my last option.
Yeah. Do you have like a real strong connection?
Yeah. And the crazy thing is,
Because I don't even know how surrogates work.
Okay, so I did IVF, which is they took my eggs out of my body, my husband's sperm, and pretty much created my child in a petri dish. And
So
then,
did you pick a boy or girl? I'm sorry.
so pretty much IVF works like this. You get a bunch of hormones injected into you that help to stimulate your egg production. And then you find out how many eggs you got. A lot of my girlfriends that have done IVF, the most they get, like they'll get like 22 eggs. The most I ever got was 6. And that's not a lot for like the average woman, especially for someone of my age. So from there, they will take your husband's sperm or your boyfriend's sperm, your man's sperm, and then they fertilize those eggs. For me, all 6 of them would fertilize, but then they would do genetic testing on them and see if they were normal, if they had all their chromosomes. Some of them wouldn't. The first time I ever did it, I got nothing. So you pay a whole lot of money, which is wild.
Oh, you gotta pay every time you do it?
Yes.
Girl. And do you get to pick boy or girl?
No, if you don't get nothing, you don't get nothing. You don't have boy or a girl. And the first time I did it, I had nothing. I remember I was actually at a hair salon and I was talking to the girl that was doing my hair, and I was so hyped because it was my first time doing it. And I was just excited to find out, like, what did I get? Did I get boys? Did I get girls? And at the time, I was still so hopeful. And it was a new experience for me because I didn't know anybody in my family had never gone through fertility issues. I'm Latina. You think you look at a Latina and she's going to get pregnant. I got hips. You know, like, I thought that this was going to be such an easy journey for me. And it was so hard, but I tried to like find things to get excited about. And so I was like, I wonder what I got. Do I have girls? Do I have boys? And I remember talking to my hairstylist and being like, the doctor's going to call me today and tell me what I got. And it went from like being excited to literally him being like
disappointed, like
so
waiting on something.
I got nothing. Like, none of your embryos are normal. Like, we can't do anything with these. You actually have to sign paperwork that says you want to discard the embryos. Like, it was wild. And it was just, in that moment, I was in shock. I was mad. I low-key was like, they want more money. Like, I was coming up with all these theories in my head, like, oh, they know I got money. So they just trying to get me to do another cycle. I can see so that I had conspiracy theories all day.
I would have did that.
Yes.
That would have been the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I was like, wait, no.
Because then I was thinking to myself, and I know this sounds wild, but you go through different phases of like, at first I was disappointed, then I was mad, then I wanted my money back, then I was like, they're trying to play me for, like, it was wild, like the things I went through.
I would honestly believe that.
Right? So I didn't get to pick initially, so I ended up doing IVF 8 times. 8 times. So you
pay 8
up.
times.
Yes.
When our doctor first said, hey, you're kind of down to one embryo, would you kindly consider surrogacy?
Yeah. It wasn't the way I imagined it, and I even questioned it. There was things that I felt I had been robbed of. One thing that really helped me was my sister, and you would always tell me, what's the end goal? What is it that you want? And I was like, I want to be a mother.
That's it.
And that's it. And I think when you change your perspective to being like, ultimately, I still get to be a mother.
You did IVF. That was your first road, and that's expensive and also taxing.
Very expensive. And I now looking back at 6 years of fertility treatments.
Wow.
8 rounds of IVF.
Oh my gosh.
Multiple miscarriages. And then I get this beautiful little boy via surrogate. And I constantly am talking about the journey to motherhood and talking with my girlfriends. I recently went to like a Kourtney Kardashian Poosh event, and they were serving drinks, and this was literally right before he was implanted. I was going through another cycle of IVF, and I said, I'm not going to drink because I'm actually having my egg retrieval in like the next 2 days. And every woman at the table was like, what is it like? What's going on? And it just made me realize in that moment how much women need these conversations, how important it is to be open and honest and normalize fertility journeys and a journey to motherhood.
Quick pivot. I want to talk about me for a second.
Let's do it.
I'm going through the egg freezing journey.
Yes.
And you have been very, very public about how it costs over $1 million on your family planning journey.
Yeah.
Can we talk about your process into motherhood and the considerations?
It's so crazy. I started the process when I was 34. From the very first time I went in, we started doing numbers, and they went in and looked at follicles, and they were like, this is not going to be as easy as we thought. That is where my whole journey began. And that was at 34. And easily 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. I know it was 6 years for sure.
I can only imagine the toll that she put her body through, and the injections, the money, the time, just the effort that you have to make to do 6 years of IVF. It's a lot, y'all. So sis was extremely determined. I'm not going to give a red flag because that's something she really wanted. And I believe that you will put value on whatever you feel is important. I believe a human life is worth more than $1 million. All I will say is I wish sis had considered the toll that it would have taken on her body.
Steadily for 6 years, 8 rounds of IVF, 4 rounds of IUI, and so many other treatments in between that were wild. We're talking acupuncture with the best of the best.
You got to get the right nutrition, the right workout regimen. You got to do all of it.
And no one tells you how much these things cost.
No. Everything from the egg retrieval to the IVF process to getting the surrogate. What does it all roughly cost on average?
Okay, so if you're talking just walking in and wanting IVF, that cycle, most people end up doing more than one cycle.
Yeah.
That is about $30K.
Yeah.
Sometimes medication can run like 14 to 15 grand additional. And then obviously for me, I ended up going the surrogate route. And I think right now the average surrogate, what that costs is around $190,000 to $230,000.
Yeah.
And some cost even more than that, because now you're talking about you're going into contract with somebody. You now need a lawyer. So you're not paying legal fees for your lawyer. You want a great lawyer because that's the most difficult part of it is actually this contract that says you are the intended parent. They also need a lawyer, the surrogate, and then you need to cover their legal fees. There's also something called agency fees. So there are agencies that help to pair intended parents with surrogates, and they now need to match them up. That is a fee that I think a lot of people don't know about. That is quite expensive. If you want to do things like prenatal care and massages and things like that, I mean, you are caring for this person and they are carrying your child.
Now, sis, I do admire your tenacity, and I admire the fact that you worked really hard to get to this point. But was Israel really worth it though? You spent all them bands to have a child with Israel Houghton? Now, just in case you all couldn't catch up with how many baby mamas that Father Israel has, let's go through this family tree. The Houghton family tree, to be exact. So we have Father Israel, he's at the top right here. And then we have baby mama number 1, with whom he had his first son. Then we skip over to his ex-wife Melissa Houghton. They had 3 kids. Then he had 2 children with his mistress slash baby mama. And now finally we have Adrienne as his current wife, and with whom he has his son Ever.
Guys, the big pal is the fact that I'm sweating so bad.
Why are you sweating? Can we? Oh, the air is because of the noise.
It's me announcing, hey guys, I'm in menopause. It's so bad.
What's happening?
Yes, and it's so bad. So the craziest thing is because I did 6 years of IVF.
Have you talked about that at all?
No, but I don't mind. I did 6 years of IVF, and then like when you stop that, it triggers your body to believe that like.
Oh, I have some friends who have gone through that.
So it comes earlier than normal.
Had the good fortune of speaking with you throughout the years. You dreamed of being a mom. You worked really hard to become a mom. And now you're 3 years into motherhood.
Crazy.
What is it like?
And I still, till this day, look at him, I'm like, you're real. Like, I look at every little detail. I look at his eyelashes and I'm like, oh my gosh, like God didn't forget your cuticles. Like just the most random, like, cause everything on him is like little, you know?
Yes.
And I'm just like, and you're mine. And I get to like watch life through your eyes and see this whole new world through his little eyes.
Yeah.
It's changed everything for me. He's being raised with a lot of freedom to express himself, to be loud. He sings, he dances. He's just started piano lessons last week.
Wow.
I cried, of course. He's like, thing, and I'm like...
Just a sobbing puddle of mess. Are you crying a lot these days?
Oh,
because
I
we
cry
saw
for
you
everything.
We saw you crying at the runway show. His runway debut. What was it that made you so emotional?
I would say 30% was like, oh my gosh, is this kid about to hit us with a... and tuck and roll? I'd say the other 70% was, I'm in awe of him. He looks back at me like, girl, I got this.
Right. Like, I'll be
like,
strutting over here if you need me.
He speaks way more Spanish than he does English.
Wow.
So he's now just picking up English and he has a little accent and I think it's the cutest thing. Like when he counts, he's like, 9 thing. 10 has a G at the end of it, okay?
He's like
9 y thing. I'm like, okay.
He sounds Cuban.
Oh, 100%. Like it is so funny. So all time, okay, vamos a modelar, you're gonna model. And he's like into it. And so there's a part of me that's like, I want him to do something else. You know, like there's just...
Babe, it's in his DNA. It's in the blood.
If you can just be honest, like going into this relationship, because she's a lot different. You know, I didn't get a chance to meet the mother of your children. You know, I mean, it'll be like a screenshot at Lakewood and she, you know, wave or whatever. Like, talk a little bit about the mental adjustment you had to make when stewarding this type of woman correctly versus the woman that you had was more in the background and you were the champion and everybody knows Israel, but that's Israel's wife.
Sure. I think I think his ways are higher than our ways is what I would say.
Yeah.
I think when we met and we were friends and hung out with our little friend group, we were so honest with each other in our conversations. Those conversations were like not the conversations you would have with someone who you're trying to impress for a future relationship.
Oh, so you wasn't putting like that bad game on it.
Bro, at all. Because well, first of all, I remember telling her, like, there's no chance in the world that I'm ever going to get married again. Right? I told her that within a few weeks of us knowing each other. And she's like, why not? And I said, because I'm clearly not good at this. And so she's like, well, I think you will. So much so that she sent me, I think I've told you this story, but she sent me on dates with friends of hers.
Yeah, you told me that.
She's like,
I didn't know
you should go to lunch with my friend or whatever. Yeah. I was like, okay, so we'd go and you know, it ends and you know, she'll call and go, hey, how did it go? And I was like, she's cool. You know, she's pretty, but not really, you know, my thing. So she'd call them and they'd be like, yeah, he's cool. He's funny, whatever. You know, he's nice. He paid for the meal, but, you know, it's not really my... And she'd be like, what do you mean? He's this, he's that. You know, so she's like fighting for my honor with her friends. Finally, her friends were like, you date him. And that's really how this thing. So years later,
everything.
She would tell me everything. I would tell her everything. Like, it's not the kind of stuff you send your representative to say. It's like, it was so unfiltered. And she'd be like, hey, this dude from the Philadelphia Eagles is kicking it to me. What do you think of him? And I was like, well, he broke the record last year. So, I mean, he's dope. He's a player, right? Yeah. And she'd be like, yeah, but he sent red roses and I don't like red roses. So, and I was like, so that's it? He didn't know that. He just sent red roses and you're like off with his head. She's like, yeah, kind of. So like, that was the kind of hang we had. It was just very matter of fact and very easy. So because we had gotten so much honesty between us, that was fairly jeopardizing it because it was very open and honest.
What do you pray for most?
In real life, I pray most for protection over my family.
And I just pray for wisdom and how to raise this little kid.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm like always like, God protect us. Just keep us, protect our hearts, protect our minds, protect my son.
I'm saying protect me so I can protect him.
Red flag. What about Adrienne? You forgot about her?
Okay,
what is yours? Your hurdle, your challenge.
I would say it's me. I would say I'm my biggest challenge every day, and I live with me. And the wins, I'll run into the office or the room and be like, babe, today's a win. I feel great. I'm doing good. I passed this challenge at the bagel shop today, or whatever it is.
Simple, small things.
Bro, I don't know.
Can send him to a strange place.
What do you mean?
This has never been my thing.
He been crashing out, yo.
This is therapy for me.
Crashing out?
Yo, he
I be crashing out.
For real, though.
Red flag. I don't know what kind of therapy he's in right now, but sir, you need to go see a clinical psychologist. ASAP. Ain't no reason you should be crashing out like that and having erratic mood swings. This is a mess, and look at her laughing. Of course she's gonna pacify him like her second baby. It's okay, baby. Don't scream like a toddler, it's okay. And trust and believe me, if he's having these crash outs with Adrienne, he was definitely having them with Melissa. I can almost guarantee it. That household must have been chaotic. And then here he go, blaming her for all of the issues that they had in their marriage, as if she was the one causing the chaos, when he's the common denominator. Y'all ever seen the bull go crazy?
When the bull comes out, we realized was a little bit different of the rest, because really heavy, but at the same time really fast, really powerful.
The agitated bull runs into the arena wall, breaking its right horn.
This bull may start doing something that is unexpected.
That's him right here.
For real.
Actually, at least we're laughing about it. I don't know, man. The smallest things drive me bananas. Like incompetent people on the phone just drive me nuts.
Rescheduling my son's swimming lesson.
Yeah, but it's more than this. So why are you sharing it in detail on here?
I'm like, give me the phone. I'm like, are you okay?
But
He's like, she can't even.
I had the wherewithal to mute it. The lady didn't hear me. She heard me going, they're asking me questions. You have to talk. I'm losing it. And then I pulled back 3 seconds later and go, what is wrong with you, dude?
Can I tell you what I think it probably is?
Yeah.
I'm not your therapist. You have to ask your therapist.
We don't care, Angie, because after I found out you set them up, I'm looking at you sideways. Not only that, but nothing you could do could help this couple because you set them up. You deal with them. I don't care what he needs to do. That's for you and Adrienne and him to figure out and plan out. We're done with him. We wrapping him right up out of here.
Winning this award means so much to me, specifically because as a child, I grew up in a Pentecostal church and I was a missionette. And I'll never forget on my crowning day, they had like a narrator when you walk down the aisle. They're like, Adrienne is 12 years old. She loves to sing and dance. She currently serves on her worship team. Her dream is to one day win a Dove Award. So I have got to find that footage because this is literally 12-year-old me is screaming on the inside.
You know what? This music that we've been doing is extremely generational. So I think it's really, there's a scripture that says one generation will praise your works to another. Mm-hmm. And I think this music has just that resident oil and history attached to it. So
we're watching our 3-year-old son learn all these songs and sing all these songs.
They're the songs my grandmother's grandmother sang.
Yeah, and they're the songs I grew up singing in church as a young kid and all throughout my life. And so it means the world to be involved in this tonight and to be able to tap into something that's generational.
On that note, thank you so much for watching this case study about Adrienne Bailon-Houghton titled The Cheater's Wife. We are done with these two. Pack them right up in the abyss of wherever they need to go. Godspeed and God bless. I wish you well on your journey. Next week, please look out for the case study. It is going to be about Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, and Kayla Nicole. That's going to be a messy one too. Lord, let me get myself prepared for this one. Maybe I need that holy water I was talking about. Take care of your beautiful selves, and until next time, bye.